top five, top five, top five.
Yeah, girl, you ready to do this? You ready to count this thing down? We're doing the top five, her. Yeah, set it off with 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ranked Top 5 List of Stuff That Don't Matter. I'm your host, Tuong Law, and it's the first episode of 2019. Yay!
2019.
We're here. We made it, folks. And this is also a very special episode. It is also episode 50 of Ranked. How about that? You all thought we couldn't do it, but here we are. We did it. Eat it. But thanks for listening. And this is also another special episode because I would like to keep this topic, amongst others, going for every single year. I think this is one of my favorite topics to talk about. But before we introduce that topic, right in front of me, of course, we have the majestical improv punch-up host extraordinaire, co-host of Ranked Sometimes. Today, are you co-host?
No, I've given up. I'm the only person not fighting for co-host. I've been on probably more episodes than the other two quote-unquote co-hosts, but I'm
have a badge.
Okay.
You want me?
I'd rather be number one.
I can't return it, man.
Okay.
It's cost me $20,000.
I'll put it on.
Okay, here you go. Click.
Okay. Oh.
It spins.
Yeah, it's really digging into my skin.
Well, you're welcome. Angus MacDonald.
Hey, that's me.
MacDonald, everyone. It's
MacDonald. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. That's important.
Everyone was wondering.
Really?
Everybody's wondering.
Okay. Uh-oh. Trump was wondering? Uh-oh.
Trump was wondering. But Angus is here, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
And he's happy to be here, I think.
I am. Video games, big deal for me.
I was trying to dance around saying that, but it's okay.
Did we not say it already?
Not yet.
Uh-oh.
That's okay.
Well, that's just a thing that's important to me.
Me too.
And moving on.
Sitting
to my left, the wonderful, the charismatic, the good smile having, Ethan Howieson.
Ethan's back, everyone.
Hey, how's it going?
Ethan, I think you haven't been on the cast for quite some time, eh?
No, I think literally last year for this exact same topic.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Which we still don't know yet. No one's spoiled yet.
No, exactly. Ethan, thank you for being part of the cast and coming back. Very happy to have you. Are you still under the Rap God title?
That's what some call me. I may have had a demotion.
Recently. Eminem kicked you out.
Like a rap demigod.
Yeah. Actually, a demigod sounds way cooler. Actually.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Demigod always sounds cool.
Because you sound, you're like, I'm still just a person.
I'm still, exactly. I still relate to you.
I'm still a little more humble.
Yeah, exactly. Not like
sit down, be humble, you know?
Zeus level.
Yeah.
Anyways. That could have been a segue, but we're not going there.
Good.
Ethan, who's the final guest?
So we have our final guest here out in the internet, coming to you live from the internet.
Oh my God, the internet.
The internet's own Dan Foerster.
Dan Foerster, everyone.
Hello.
Dan, Dan. Usually when we podcast together, you are sitting actually next to me, across from me, or on top of me. This time it's neither.
Inside of.
Saucy.
Neither. Now it's neither. So I feel very far away from you, but I'm happy you're able to Skype in to the podcast.
Yeah, this is great.
Is it
Thanks
Skype
for having me, guys.
Discord.
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
This episode is sponsored by Skype, but we are using Discord.
Angus fucked it again.
Oh, geez. Oh, shit.
Shut it down.
Dan, thank you for being part of the cast. I know you have a lot of controversial things to say about the games that you've been playing. And that's what we're doing today. We're doing top 5 video games of 2018.
Of course.
2018. One of my favorite topics to talk about. Played a lot of video games.
Now, I didn't listen to last year's episode.
Oh, well.
Now I should. What do you guys remember the top one from last year's episode?
I remember the top one.
I think it was Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, it was Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild
interesting.
took it.
But probably Persona 5 was number 2 on that list, is my guess.
It was not even mentioned.
I don't think it was.
Wow.
Was it?
Honorable mentions.
Yeah, it was probably my favorite
okay.
game of 2017. But hey, Breath of the Wild, sure.
You know what? Top 1 video game music of 2018 for sure.
Of Zelda Breath of the Wild?
No, Persona 5.
Persona 5.
Yeah.
Easily the best music.
I was like, Zelda Breath of the Wild music. Ding.
Yeah, exactly.
I did.
You mean like the birds chirping?
I did just get Breath of the Wild because I just got my Switch
Sick,
this
okay.
year. I just got Breath of the Wild, and I've barely dipped a toe into it because of all the amazing games that came out this year.
Yeah, that game's amazing. You should play at some point. But you're right.
I'll
There
get
is a
there.
lot of
I'll get
games.
there.
After this podcast, you'll just play it.
Before ground rules, I'm just curious here because the people at home are curious about what I'll start off by saying we are not a video game website per se, so
Not
we
yet.
don't have the time to play as many video games as other sites but I would say we have played a ton of games collectively.
Yeah,
I'd agree.
I like video games. I'm constantly having at least 1 or 2 on the go. In the last couple weeks, I had 4 on the go, so it was quite intense. But Angus, what systems do you have?
I just got the Switch, like I said. I got the Switch. I've got a PlayStation 4. I've got pretty much every Sony console that's ever existed. I do own a Vita.
I was
but
just gonna ask that.
But no games came out for Vita this year. Real shame. Yeah, I have an Xbox 360. Haven't turned it on in a real long time. And I also play a lot of PC games. So really the only window I'm missing is Xbox One. But I'm fairly certain none of those games are going to pop up in this list. We'll see. Oh, yeah, that huge library of exclusives.
Ethan, you have a couple consoles too, eh? You have
I don't have as many as Angus, unfortunately. I just
Thank
run
you.
games off my. You're welcome. I just have my trusty PS4 and my PC.
that's good. Dan, what do you have?
I've got a PS4 Pro with the VR.
okay.
Show off.
These
Okay.
are
Big dick.
Oh,
man.
VR, nice.
Let me adjust my
Yeah,
monocle.
VR. I've got a Nintendo Switch. I do most of my hardcore gaming though on Nokia N-Gage.
I do have the most popular gaming system in my pocket right now. It's called a phone.
Yeah, a flip.
Yeah, it's a Motorola Razr.
Oh, dude, that's
very cool.
I
Right?
have the
Still
Motorola
pretty cool.
Crazer at home. And I had myself have the Nintendo Switch, PC, PS4, also Pro.
Oh, you have a Pro.
I also have a big dick.
Mine's starting to make a lot of noise. So maybe it's time I upgrade to a big dick. My dick, not my PS4. Is quiet.
exactly.
My dick makes a lot.
Your next big dick's gonna have better fans, I think.
Yeah, I
better
hope.
cooling
I hope it
system.
has water fans.
And that's why you're here today, folks, is to talk about our dicks. But let's get into the nitty gritty here. We got to come up with ground rules, of course. I don't know what else is. Like, it's obviously games that came out in 2018, of course.
I have a question.
Yes.
Already.
If it came out in a previous year and was re-released this year for some reason, port or something like that, does that count as a game that came out this year?
I don't.
I can't think of any right now, but I just wanted to make sure we get that out there.
I could think of some exceptions to that rule, which I
Okay.
won't get into, but I don't think so. Like, I will say, Fortnite, the biggest game this year,
Yeah.
Snooze.
does not count because that
Came out
came out last year.
Well,
like,
we're also
officially.
we're talking about good games, so.
yeah, that's right. That's right. Although Dan, you like Fortnite, right?
Oh, do you? I'm
I do, yeah, I do. I'm not like a hardcore Fortnite fan, but I do play it.
Have you
played
mastered the dances?
Oh.
God,
Just getting sued constantly.
So I played Fortnite. I was in early access Fortnite before it was a battle royale
Before it was
game.
cool, okay.
Yeah, before it was cool, before everyone liked it. And I was like, this is a pretty good game. And then it became the biggest game in the world while I was not playing it. And I'm like, I don't want to go back to
I was
it.
gonna say I have a friend who's real bitter. He did the same thing. He
Yeah.
bought it when it was just like a PVE, like build your own
Yeah,
community
yeah.
stuff, and then
A cooler game,
Yeah, exactly.
really.
And then he built this battle royale, and he's like, I paid $60 for this game. Everyone's getting
Yeah.
it for free now.
Yeah, and they've abandoned the original format.
Yeah,
It's
that
like,
sucks.
it's like a defense. There's zombies was a thing. Like it was, you were fighting a storm made of zombies. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's
and
great.
base building. and shit.
I've never played it.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm just
it's
too. I look at it. I'm like, I'm too scared. I don't want to. I didn't like Battlegrounds too much, or I didn't get sucked into Battlegrounds. So I
Right.
figured Fortnite
I've
would
never
be
actually played a battle royale game.
Really?
Yeah.
I definitely see the appeal to it. I
Yeah?
definitely do. But it wasn't for me. But yeah, to your point, Angus, I think if it's a re-release of a game, I don't actually think it's going to be nominated in the first
I don't
place.
think so. Yeah.
But
Yeah, just
I also
figured
don't
I'd
think
throw it
it'll
up
probably count. Like, can we talk? Let's say like the Diablo 3 on the Switch.
Oh,
like that's
yeah.
not going to be.
No,
that wouldn't
yeah.
count.
Skyrim hasn't come out on the Switch yet, has it? That
Yeah, it has.
7-year-old
Yeah.
game.
It did.
It
No,
did,
more
yeah.
even. Yeah.
It came out. Yeah.
Wow.
So that doesn't count either. I don't think, unless you did like something
make us-
huge to it.
Yeah,
Like,
if it was like I would argue that if like Skyrim VR maybe came out this year, I'd be like, oh, that's a big deal. That's
Yeah.
a whole basically yeah.
Sure,
But
yeah.
it didn't, so we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Any other ground rules we want to cover? Of course, we're talking about all the biggest releases from every console that we own. But yeah, I think that's it. Eh?
Yeah,
Think
no,
of it. This one's pretty straightforward. There's
Yeah. Shall we get into it then?
absolutely.
Because we'll see how heated this gets.
Okay.
Although we'll see.
I think I'll be able to keep my cool.
just like last episode, Angus.
Yeah, I was screaming about chicken nuggets and French fries.
Oh, I guess that episode will be in the future.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a
uh,
slight tease.
yes.
Slight tease.
Segue.
Yeah. Just like every episode, we are going to nominate 3 nominations each, go around the circle 3 times, and make a master list of 12 and whittle that down into a top 5 list. Episode 50 people. Let's do it.
Yes.
Okay. I'll go first as per usual. Now, I'm going to nominate one that you probably... Angus, I've been talking about this game a little bit. Dan, you've been seeing me play this at work. Ethan, I think I might have touched on this. I am nominating Celeste as my first
Really?
first
Okay.
game.
Really? Okay, so this is one of the games I know nothing about this game.
Yeah,
I know very little. Too.
Yeah, so it's a surprise to me. This game won the best indie game of 2018 at the Game Awards.
Okay.
Oh, awesome.
And I looked at it, and when you first look at it, the graphics.
It's a PC game?
It can be a PC game, yeah.
What are you
I
playing?
I played on Switch because I
Oh,
like
okay.
to bring it places with
Yeah.
me. But I think it's on PS4, it's on Xbox,
Okay.
Okay.
it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, it really surprised me. Maybe because everyone was hyping it. I remember when it first came out, IGN gave it like a 10.
Oh, yeah? Really?
Yeah, Polygon and like GameSpot, they all gave it like 9s and like 5 stars everywhere.
Wow,
And I'm
okay.
like, what is this game? And when you look at
How'd I
it,
miss
it's
this?
like all pixely. It might not look that visually appealing off the top, but when
Yeah.
you get into it, you're like, this is perfect. Playing the game, it's a 2D platformer in the style of Super Meat Boy-esque, where it is extremely challenging. Basically, the only movement you have in the game is move with the analog stick. You can jump and you can dash.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
it. You can
Can
air
you
dash.
dash while
you
you're
can,
in the air?
Yeah, you can dash diagonally. You can dash
Yeah.
down wherever. You
Oh,
can
cool.
dash horizontally. The whole style of the game is you're this little girl who's trying to climb a mountain, and you don't know why, but she just needs to climb this mountain. That's her motivation. And you're just going through these extremely punishing platforming sequences. But the whole game is like, hey, listen, every time you die, it's a learning experience from you. You're going to take a little bit more out of this, and you'll learn how to get past this. And every time you're bumping through, you just keep kind of pounding through it, and you get really frustrated because like, I know what to do now, but I can't get past the sequence. But when you do, it is like the most satisfying thing ever, because
That sounds like Meat Boy, yeah.
It's extremely tight controls.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
and-
kind of need that for a plot,
yeah.
First Super Meat Boy
But
game.
what
Yeah,
took
yeah.
me aback was not only just that. It was like it's the music in the game is fantastic. The soundtrack is really, really good. It's the same people who made Towerfall, so that came out in 2013.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if you
I
guys
haven't
ever
played, I
played
haven't
it.
played that
I
one
don't
either,
think
but
so.
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, I haven't either.
What else? And the story is surprisingly very good as well. I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting it
Really?
from a game like this. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not like a surprisingly deep story, but the themes they touch
No, it
is just
doesn't, yeah.
like the reason why you're climbing this mountain is to
Is this a
fight.
spoiler?
No, I don't. No, it's not. It's
Okay.
not. It is talking about like anxiety and depression and
Oh,
stuff
cool.
like that, and how
I
you
like
can
that kind of-
overcome that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why
Okay.
this girl is like climbing the mountain.
This whole game's
Now-
a metaphor then.
I missed that.
Yeah,
Dan,
cool.
did you say you've played this one, Celeste?
Oh no, I haven't.
Okay, okay.
I actually I've seen a little bit of this game, and I was like, I like simple kind of like 8-bit graphics,
Yeah.
but somehow with this game, I don't know. I was originally like kind of put off by the style, and until I actually saw Tuong play it at work, and when I saw it in action, I liked it a lot. That looked really cool.
Cool.
It's very cool, and it's pretty cheap too. I got it for it's
Yeah.
a $30 game, but with all the Nintendo coins I had, I got it for $6.
I
Sick.
don't know how
Okay.
that coin system works. We'll have to talk about that. Yeah.
You buy a game and you get coins.
Is it connected to Bitcoins at all? Is that a
Yes,
cryptocurrency?
it's
Is
a
it a crypto-
cryptocurrency. Yeah.
Nintendo coins.
It is.
Yep. It's
You've been mining.
I've been mining
Celeste?
a crap ton of it. I could talk more about Celeste later, but
Awesome, cool.
I do think it's a 100% worthwhile play for everyone.
Cool.
And it's a long game too. Like it's like about maybe 6 to 10 hours for the main story, but every level has a B side to it.
Okay.
And
Sick.
if you finish the B side, there's a C side to it as well.
God, okay.
Okay.
And throughout the level, this is the last thing I'll say, is that you collect the collectibles in the game are called, or there's strawberries that are put through every single like area of the game, and they're completely optional. The creators are like, hey, for those of you who want like a challenge, collect these stupid strawberries. But if you just want to go through the game, just go through the game. There's also an option where you can kind of easy mode it, where you can pause it or like slow down time for you to like easy mode it. Not me, obviously. I'm the best.
No. Actually, I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you finish it?
I finished it. I finished the main story.
Cool. Yeah.
And that's when I opened up and I was like, oh my God, this game can be a lot longer than I thought. So yeah, really cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Me?
Yep.
Cool. This one's not an indie game, but I have to, because I want to finally talk about it. Spider-Man, PS4.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Have we all played it?
I have not.
Oh, not played it. Dan,
Yes.
you've played it. So we won't spoil anything, of course, even for our listeners. But probably the best Spider-Man game I've ever played.
Oh,
And I've played pretty much all of them, at least all the ones recent. Like, I haven't played all the NES ones and all the Sega Genesis ones, but I've played pretty much every Spider-Man game. And this one, I was worried at first because I loved Spider-Man 2 on the PS2.
Yeah.
I sunk so many hours. Like, I spent a full summer, and it was like the only game I played an entire summer. And it was great. And I was the best. And then I got to this, and it's funny, too, because this game actually had to win me over. I liked it, but the web swinging and stuff like that, I was like, I don't know. It doesn't quite feel right. But about like 3 hours in, something clicked. Maybe not 3 hours in, but like the first couple hours, something clicked, and I was like, holy shit, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. And like obviously it's so tacky and like cliche, but like every review says this is like, you feel like Spider-Man. It's like I've nailed it, and like it scales really well. I haven't played the DLC because I've tried to go on to other games, but all 3 DLCs are out now, I think. Or
Yeah,
the
they
third
are.
one's
The
about
last
to come
one's
out.
out.
And I'm like so ready to go back and jump in and just play through all the DLC. And I platinumed it, unlocked most of the costumes. I'm just missing like the one secret one and all the DLC ones.
Yeah.
Great game. Beautiful visuals. Oh, amazing story. That was the other thing. Is it's maybe one of the best Spider-Man stories
Yep.
I've ever
For sure.
played.
Like in any medium too? Like
Yes.
would you say
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
better than
Like
the
I
movie or
love
something
like
that?
I love this. I love the first 2 Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
And this is a better Spider-Man story than
That's
those.
sick to hear.
Yeah. It's great.
This
It's
year's been
incredible.
insane for Spider-Man as like just an icon. Infinity War, this game,
Yeah.
Spider-Verse,
Spider-Verse.
like
Oh,
huge.
I'm trying to see that
one.
movie.
His Christmas album as well.
Yes, Christmas album. That's true. You got it. Dan, your thoughts on Spider-Man, real quick?
Oh yeah. It's totally on my list. It's an amazing game. I platinumed it as well. It's actually like the first game I platinumed on PlayStation.
Oh,
Me
that's
too.
awesome.
Me too.
Just like sunk like so many hours into it. I'm in the same boat though too, where like I finished it before the DLC came out, and so I needed time away from it. But I would love to get back into it at some point.
Yeah, I also platinumed it. It was such an addicting game to play. I will say the grind for the platinum towards the end was a little bit kind of whatever,
just
but
clearing
Yeah,
all
a
the
little
neighborhoods
bit,
was
yeah.
a little bit, but
it was just whatever. But
It-
whatever, you're just
Yeah.
you're playing the game because you like it.
think
well,
you
that's the
kinda-
thing. It's got a fast travel system, and the only time I used the fast travel system was to collect the trophy for it.
Yeah.
And then I never used it again because it's an open world game, and like those live or die by their traversal. It's like it's generally what you do when you're designing one of these
Swinging
games.
is so good.
It feels great.
Yeah.
Combat's great. Gadgets are great. Oh, and that was one last thing I'll say on it, because I think we'll see with a couple other games coming up. I imagine nomination wise. I really liked the length of Spider-Man.
The game? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I played
Oh, me
it.
too,
I
yeah.
platinumed it, and then I was done, and I was able to move on to other stuff. I don't have 100 million hours to play games anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like it's nice when a game doesn't overstay its welcome.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah, I've heard.
Ethan, what do you got?
So I don't know how many people were into Dragon Ball when they were growing up.
Oh hell yeah!
Let me
You
tell
guys remember? You
that
remember
come
watching the
out this
anime when you're younger, just
Fuck
like
yeah.
cheering on Goku when he turned Super Saiyan for the first time.
Yep.
and-
cheering on
Yep.
Yamcha, cheering on
Yeah,
Chaozu.
best character Yamcha. I was always more of a
Best.
Krillin guy myself,
Dude,
but I get what
yeah.
you're saying.
I'm a Cyberman for life.
Cyberman. Nappa,
man.
bro. Sorry.
for life.
Yeah. So DBZ.
Yeah, DBZ Fighters.
Oh,
Dragon Ball Fighters with a Z at the end.
yeah.
This game really did bring me back to those early days of when I was watching Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z for the first time. This is such a big departure from all of the other Dragon Ball games.
Yeah, it's the first 2D one in a while,
It is,
right?
yeah, in a while. I
It's
think
like
there was
Budokai, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
was Budokai even 2D? I thought
think
that was
one
just
of them
always
was
a
on the-
3D.
Budokai was 2D.
Oh, you know, it might have been 3D. It's like 3D models, but the camera might have been locked to 2D.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yes,
It might
yes,
have been-
yeah.
It's like a locked camera. Yeah.
Budokai Tenkaichi, which was the other one. Anyways, Dragon Ball's dumb, but this game's good.
Oh my God,
Yes.
Tung's hair is turning gold.
It's blue now.
Oh, so lame.
You do have many Gokus in this game, including blue and yellow hair.
Good.
But yeah, this game, like I said, brings me right back. It really felt like when I was playing it, it was straight ripped from the anime, like the characters I
awesome.
was using and the combos I was doing. It just felt exactly like what I remember as a kid, and that just had like a huge nostalgia factor in there. But also, it's entirely built on this like competitive video game backbone.
Yeah.
It's like you're saying, Budokai and Tenkaichi and all that. Those games were kind of like, let's cram as many characters into this game as possible. This one is really like, no, let's step back and rethink this with just like a competitive side of things, really. It's similar to Marvel vs. Capcom in the fact that it's like you pick 3 characters. It's like
Yeah.
a tag game.
Yeah, I love that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
so it's so much fun.
Do you guys follow Evo at all? I
Yes.
have like so
Yeah.
it seems to be like it's getting played professionally, right?
Yes,
like
it's-
It was
got
the
a
most
big-
exciting game from Evo from last year.
I
And I
heard,
just
yeah.
heard from Evo Japan this year. It's not.
No, wait, did the
They're-
game come out last year?
No, it came
Oh,
out this year.
like
last
Last
year.
this
Tw-
summer.
2019.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
2019.
this past
You're absolutely right.
summer.
You're this past 2019. 2018. Yep.
Yep.
See, we fucked. They're gonna know, man.
We're breaking the wall here,
Breaking
dude.
the wall.
But yeah, it was the in 2018.
Yeah.
It was the most watched fighting game at Evo. It broke
Wow.
records for like entrance. I think I have a note of it. I think it was like 2,500
Wow.
entries. This is the highest Evo tournament like entry ever. Broke Evo Twitch viewership records. 258,000 people watching. It wasn't even the main event. Like Street Fighter
Wow.
V was the main event
Oh,
of Evo.
boring.
But people like didn't really care about it. Like
Yeah, I heard Street Fighter 5 was kind of a dud, wasn't it?
yeah,
Anyway.
it's a continued dud.
Yeah.
But
A lot of people really love Street Fighter.
But yeah, Dragon
Yeah.
Ball, I completely agree with you. It's just like it's a property that everyone recognizes, even though you might, even if you don't follow Dragon Ball, you kind of know what Dragon Ball is.
Yeah.
But when
Yeah.
you're watching it, it's like you're watching the show because the colors and animation of Dragon Ball Fighter Z is
yeah.
Do you have
crazy.
this game?
I also have it.
I
Yeah.
played it at a friend's house, so I've only played it once, and I've seen it played once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. Like my only real complaint with it's not really a complaint, is that like I picked it up and my friend just kicked my ass.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's because he's played 20 hours
Yeah,
of the
exactly.
game, and I haven't, so I'm like, I don't know
That's-
what I'm
yeah.
doing.
of
Fighting
course.
games, bro.
But
Yeah,
that's fighting
exactly.
games in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, no, the cell shaded graphics, they had 2.5D like arc system.
good.
It looks fantastic. They do tons of like little fan surfaces in there as your character gets like more and more injured. You remember in the show they had the scuff marks all over the body and like the cracks. That happens to your characters in this game as you get like lower and lower health. They have dramatic finishes, like a whole bunch of like depending on who you have starting in the game. Like for one instance, if you have Teen Gohan versus Cell in the Cell Arena stage, if you start it without Android 16 on your team, it does the whole thing with Android 16's head on the ground, does the dialogue and stuff like that, and you see like Cell smash
Gohan.
it. Exactly.
Gohan, let it go.
You see him charge up. That's how the game starts.
That's great.
It's
Yeah.
all those little fan services and stuff like that on top of all this competitive
Yeah.
nature of this game. It's fantastic.
Cool.
I love Dragon Ball. And I love Dan. Dan, what do you got?
Good segue. You're very good at segues.
Dan Ball Z.
Oh.
Oh, love it.
So I've got an easy one on my list here. God of War.
Yes.
God of War.
Yeah, God of War. God of War. It was just one of those games where I like picked it up. I just immediately like fell in love with it. Like I just loved the way the game looked, the way the characters looked, the way the environments looked, and then the story is just so much fun. The interaction between Kratos and his son, and just seeing that relationship kind of develop throughout the game, and how that changes. It goes from getting better to kind of worse at one point to kind of back to being a little bit better. I don't know. I just the combat was amazing. So many choices for how you're fighting in that game, overwhelmingly so. At some point, I don't know. Yeah, it's my number one game. When I was thinking like what would be a game on my list, like it was like without thinking, it's like, oh yeah, God of War.
Yeah, God
It's
of
like
War
it's
is
like masterpiece.
yeah, it's awesome. I think it's an extremely interesting game because the other God of War games aren't like that.
No.
So yeah, that's a thought. I love the God of War franchise, and I loved the new God of War. But I will say multiple times throughout, I was like, why did this need to be a God of War game? This could have just been a new title. You know,
I see what you mean, yeah.
because but it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it was still great, still loved it.
Yeah.
It's just like yeah.
Well, they do build on the backbone of those other games,
Yes.
and like in story wise, like it's cooler. I think you gain such a bigger appreciation of the character of
Yeah.
Kratos, right?
I think a lot of people are picking this one up though without having played the other ones.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But that being said, I guess it would be okay. Like you don't really need to know the other ones. You kind of just
They
you know
fill it in. They kind of fill it in,
yeah.
right?
It's a great
Yeah.
game. It's a good game. Beautiful game too.
That combat
Like
system's
Truth or
awesome.
Gold, I think I only ever played like the first one. Maybe
Yeah. Oh, I played all of them.
definitely didn't play the third one. So I
was
was
the
really
one I
nervous
played,
jumping
yeah.
back
So good.
into it.
Yeah. The only one I didn't play was the only one I didn't finish was the one after the third one, but before the fourth one. It was like Ascension or something.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
that,
yeah.
It, like,
that
goes
was on the
back in
Vita,
time.
wasn't it?
It's like a
No,
multiplayer.
it was on PS.
It was like a
I
multiplayer
guess I
one.
didn't play the PSP ones. Yeah, I guess there's a couple I haven't
Ghost
played.
of Sparta.
But like the
whatever.
big
Right.
ones I've played, the tentpole ones, and they were classics.
Yeah, but like before, it was like Kratos was just like it was like only like a metal type of game where you're just
Oh,
like,
yeah, it was
just like
not
killing a
good,
bunch
yeah.
of
You're
things,
just super
blood's
one-dimensional.
everywhere. Yeah, he's just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
angry. You're having
Yeah.
sex. It's great.
Yeah.
The edgy 90s, man.
Yeah, it's funny too because like a lot of the character development and stuff like that was in the PSP games.
Oh, word?
Yeah. Like he because his daughter gets killed and stuff like that. His daughter and he kills his daughter and his wife.
Yeah.
Way back in the first game, right? And then like in the PSP game, he like gets to go to heaven to be with her, and then has to give that up to like fix shit that he did. And it's like, oh, that's actually a really cool character development.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked that exists in the PSP and not like on a main console.
God, yeah.
But yeah, it's good,
I like
great
how
series.
they last thing I'll say about God of War 2 is that I
Oh,
like
we're
how
talking
they
about we're talking about the God of War 4 though.
Yep.
Okay.
Damn it. Well, now I have nothing to say then. But it's so interesting because now they're like, oh, Greek mythology, it happens, but also Norse mythology is also in this world too.
Yeah,
so that means anything goes in this world, and that is
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm excited for whatever
Yeah.
they do next. with
Kratos
it.
will kill anything.
Yeah.
And I'm stoked to play as Kratos killing anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're going to round 2, everyone. Good discussion. Good discussion going on here. Let's go into. I'm gonna go with my favorite right now is Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. I love Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
It's just
Great
fun.
franchise, yep.
It's a great franchise. I've always liked it as a party game, but I've always also am one of those people who like it competitively too.
Yeah.
I like really like the tools are there to go either way with it. If you're just dicking around with friends, although we played Angus last night with 6 people, that got kind of crazy.
It did get well, especially when one person got eliminated at 3 minutes, and then the last 2 people got eliminated at 20 minutes. It was a bit much.
That was a bit much. But the core
it's a great
game,
game.
the core game hasn't changed too much. Like the button combos are the same. Like if you know, like your special and direction is this move, and like your up B is this. Like you can figure it out. And then the minutia of it starts coming in when you like really dig it deep into like
into a character.
into a
that you
single
like.
character.
Of
You're like,
course,
okay,
yeah.
this character can recover this way. It has this much range. This is its sweet spot for its attack.
It's actually a lot like a League of Legends type game where you're like, oh, this is my main. It's like a sport. You're like, this is my character. If I really want to go hard, this is the character I play as. Which I'm realizing now in myself. I'm like, oh, I'm going to play. I'm not going to tell you.
You're not gonna tell me. We're gonna play after.
We'll play after. Could be
Dan, you
Cloud,
and I
who
had
knows?
this conversation, though, and I always should talk Dan at work because I'm like, you play with items more. But
You're playing the game wrong.
yeah,
No, I love the.
I think items are fine for a party setting. That's it.
Yeah.
If we're going 1-on-1 though, I want to fight you 1-on-1.
Yeah.
No,
I guess
yeah.
we can keep things moving. I do have some points against Smash Bros, but I do love it. It's a great game. But we'll
okay. Well,
we'll talk
before we
let's
move
just-
on entirely,
yeah.
I will say this game in particular. What makes it different is it is the it is ultimate.
Yeah.
The name itself kind of brings it in because it has every single character, every single stage. It brings in basically every random ass character you can think of in the style of spirits, which is their new system in this game, which is it's weird. It's weirdly complicated, but also simple and sort of dumb. Like it's kind of all of it.
Okay.
Like I'm kind of I'm happy it's there because it's completely
The
fine.
challenge board's pretty cool.
Challenge
I like
board
that.
is cool.
Yeah, I love
the
that
story
board.
mode is long and hard.
And hard.
It's
very hard. Yep.
It's
Yeah,
very,
interesting.
very hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's fine. Like it's not really a story. Like you have a beginning cutscene
No.
and you're kind of just traveling through
kinda,
this
yeah.
big ass map.
Yeah, I like that part.
Going through like challenge after challenge. The coolest thing about the World of Light thing is I'm not done, and I'm 18 hours in. I'm not done.
Really? Wow.
Is that they're like, okay, Revolver Ocelot can't be in this game as a character,
Yeah.
or they're not going to put him in as an assist trophy, so we're going to make him a spirit. So you're fighting the Revolver Ocelot spirit, but you have Snake,
Yeah.
that always like in his like special like variation is like this snake likes to pick up guns and use it a lot.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
like if you're
Well, so
fight-
it approximates the spirit.
That's right.
And so actually, wait, have you guys played? Did you guys play Grand Theft Auto? Did you guys play Metal Gear Solid 5?
Yes.
So do you guys remember the character of Paz?
Yes.
And spoiler for a game that came out a couple years ago, she dies. She
Dude.
has a bomb inside of her,
Yep.
and it kills her. The spirit for Paz in Smash Bros. Do you guys know this? When you equip her, you start the game with a bomb. And I sent that to my buddy who hasn't played Smash Bros, but he loves Metal Gear Solid, and he's like, "That is fucking savage." And I'm like, "It's perfect."
Dude, the attention of detail in
It's
this game
great,
is
yeah.
insane for that kind of stuff.
it's
And that's
great.
why I really appreciate it. Anyways, I can talk way more about this, but we'll move on.
Sure.
Angus.
Okay, well, Tung got a an indie one in there, so I'm gonna put one of my. I wanted to kind of pick a couple different because we could all list all the cool AAA games that we
Yeah.
played this year.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get an indie one in there that kind of occupied a lot of my time. A game called Dead Cells. Have you guys played
Yes.
Dead Cells?
Yeah, I did.
Oh yeah,
I did.
Yeah, I know Dead Cells.
And what did you guys like it?
I did.
I loved it.
I really liked it.
I never finished it though.
I didn't finish it either.
me
I got-
either.
Yeah,
That's
I got really close to the end. Like I actually made it to the final boss.
okay.
And then didn't beat final boss. I almost beat a run. I didn't unlock all the items yet.
Yeah.
I have a lot to say about Dead Cells, but go ahead.
You do?
I do.
Oh, a lot of bad stuff.
No, mostly positive.
Mostly
but
positive.
One thing that really
That's fair.
Go ahead.
It's
Go
not
ahead.
a perfect game, but I love the visual style for it.
Absolutely.
I love the ability, and this is not a thing I can say about a lot of games we've nominated so far, except for maybe, well, no, I guess a couple of these games so far. Dead Cells, I could sit down and play for like 10 minutes, and then I can stop if I'm making dinner or something like that. Like it's not a game that I need to. For me, that's a plus right now. Is if I can play it for hours and hours, which I did. But I can also jump in, do a quick run. You know, I can have it in the background while I'm listening to a podcast or watching a movie or something.
It's
like
great for that, yeah.
It's great because it really trickles the story out for you. It's like, and it's all reading. It's not like voice
Yeah.
acted.
Yeah.
So it's a good indie game. I'm a fan.
Yeah, the combat in that game is real tight.
It's
Yeah,
really
it's,
really
The
good.
Snappy
control,
movement,
yeah, the
yeah, it's
controls.
fantastic.
That's like the best part
I'm
of that
so
game.
bad with shields, so I just never picked
No,
them up.
same,
Shields are
same.
garbage.
Fuck that.
Yeah, I can't parry for shit. So I'm like, I'll just dodge everything and shoot arrows at everybody.
No, shields are
I'm
bad. in
stab
that game.
people with fucking pikes and
Yep.
stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh, the pike is so good. You freeze them.
Yep.
And then
always.
actually, I was talking to a coworker about it today, and he looked it up, and he loves like Dark Souls.
Yeah.
And I didn't try to sell it to him as Dark Souls. I know some people do that. I'm like, it's got a similar loop to it a little bit,
Yeah.
I guess. But just collecting, gathering your souls and stuff like that.
Sure, okay.
Tenuous at best. But he was saying, look, the boss fights don't look memorable in the trailers, and I'm like, they're not memorable. What I find memorable with that though is like the run is memorable, and you get cool items, and then you get these cool items that like have all these modifiers that I've got an ice blast that as soon as people get out of it, they are also on fire, and then I've got a pike that does extra damage to frozen people, but also lays down oil. So I can it's a great combo, and it works really well together. And I can just spread a bunch of ice and fire around, and it's like cool and satisfying.
Yeah, it
when
is
you
a-
like clear the whole screen.
It is a game ass game for sure.
Yeah,
like
it's a game.
so arcadey, but like just so tight. Great game.
Great
game.
controls.
Absolutely.
Dan, did you play it? Dead Cells?
I actually didn't play it, but I've watched you play a little bit. I've watched some other people play online. It looks really good. Like it's definitely a game I considered getting this year. It just really didn't have the time to play
Yeah,
it.
if it goes on sale in Steam, I would say for
yeah,
sure.
absolutely
Or
get
you
it.
know what? It's on Switch too. I have it on Switch.
I heard the Switch version was a little
They fixed
choppy.
it. They fixed
okay,
it.
great.
So like
great, awesome.
when it first came out,
Yeah.
Dead Cells on Switch was like it wasn't that bad. Like here and there, it would skip a frame, which was annoying for sure.
especially when it's so tight.
Yeah,
and like it framed it. Yeah,
but I never felt it was game breaking enough, and so I still enjoyed it. But it's been months and months since, and I just dropped into that game the other day, and it's like pretty smooth.
yeah, and that's
that's
the other
cool.
thing too is I feel like I could pick it up again right now,
Absolutely,
and not really miss a beat because
Yeah.
it's simplistic. It's pretty straight, not simplistic in a bad way. It's effective, and the buttons are. It's like
Well, the game is roguelike, so it's always
Yeah,
runs. You're
it's
just-
always run-based.
If you die, you start over.
yeah, which I'm
Yeah.
really getting into
Roguelikes
the
are cool.
roguelike games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The runs-based games?
Yeah.
yeah.
There's one thing I wanted to touch on with Dead Cells. I know we talked about it a lot already,
Yeah.
but something Dan was saying is like he watched you play it, Tuong, and he watched some other people play it online. The really great thing I found about Dead Cells is that it has like its own built-in Twitch streaming
Oh, does it?
setup. Yeah.
On
Oh, that's
Steam,
kinda
right?
cool.
On Steam, yeah. So the chat in Twitch can actually help or hinder the player who's running. The game.
Really?
Yeah. They
Oh,
can
that's
they
kinda
can
cool.
yeah they can vote on certain things like certain inhibitors or certain like
Really?
perks. Yeah, that can happen
Oh, that's
to the
awesome.
streamer and stuff like that. They can also help kill monsters and like help out like with this like Captain Chicken guy who like follows around, and like you can pop potions
That's
for
awesome.
the streamer whenever you
that's really
is
cool.
necessary. Yeah,
that's such a cool
really
idea.
cool. I heard
It
about
is.
this, but I never.
Man, I should
interact-
start streaming
The Switch
that
one.
game.
yeah.
The Nintendo Switch one does not have that.
Oh, yeah.
But that does sound.
It's
awesome.
that was probably the coolest part. For me.
Yeah, oh, it's one of those two. Like I play it on PC, I have to play it with a controller, so I hook up my
Yeah,
PS4
yeah,
controller
same.
too. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Ethan. See that segue?
So I'm going to continue with this kind of maybe not AAA like super
Orgy.
mainstream. Yeah.
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 This orgy that we have going on. Go flashback to the big dicks and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Good callback.
I'm always flashing.
There was a game that kind of popped up sort of towards the end of the year, and I was hearing some people talk about it. This game called Return of the Obra Dinn.
Oh yeah, I've heard of
Oh,
this.
I've heard of this.
I don't know
this
anything
game.
about it. Tell me.
Okay, so this game is probably the most unique game I've played, and maybe not this year. Well, no, like including this year, in the past couple of years. Maybe just because it's a genre I don't play at all. This is like a detective, like a first-person detective game.
Okay.
So just to give you like a style visual, if you will, it's black and white.
Okay.
It's really trying to replicate those old 1800s style pictures that you would see.
Oh, okay.
But it's using early ass Macintosh like game pixelated graphics. Do you remember those like early Macintosh games?
Yeah. Like, wait, are we talking like Oregon Trail level or like?
yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
so it's really interesting,
Yeah.
a really unique style for.
And what's it
like,
called, sorry?
The Return of the Obra Dinn.
Obra Dinn.
Obra Dinn. It's a ship. It's like it's a pirate ship, or not a pirate ship, but it was like from the East India Company, like back in
Yeah.
the 1800s and stuff like that.
Cool.
So what you're tasked with doing is that you're I guess an insurance person from the East India Company, and you get the Obra Dinn was a ship that set out to sea like months ago, and then it came back and started like floated into harbor, and no one was there. Like everyone was gone. They didn't know what the hell happened. So you get onto this ship, and you're right away just like you see a corpse on the ground. You're like what like it's bones at this point. There's like flies floating around. You're like, what's going on here? You go up to it, and you take out this like magic pocket watch, and you press X. I forget what the control is for the Xbox.
Sure.
And you get a flashback to when that person died. So it puts you into this like diorama scene with like audio cues and visual cues and stuff like that, and you're trying to piece together all the people in this scene, and then you keep doing that. You keep trying to figure out. There's 60 people in this crew that you have to identify like how they died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and there's like a whole bunch of ways. Like they could have been shot, they could have been like torn apart, they could have exploded, burned to death, been exposed. They could have like got away alive or something like that. You have to like piece together the mystery of every person that was on this ship.
That
at
sounds
one
really
point.
cool.
Yeah.
It's a really
Oh, wow.
interesting game, and in these like little dioramas, you can actually, in some cases, you don't like freely have this ability, but in some dioramas, you can pull out corpses from that scene and then go investigate them. So you're like doing some Inception diving into how people died.
yeah.
That's kind of cool.
That sounds neat.
This sounds very
How
cool.
long of a game is it? Did you finish it?
I have not finished it yet. I think I'm like 4.5 hours into it. I've heard it's like 10 hours. Or
Okay, so that's a good length of a game.
Yeah. I'm at the point where I think I've uncovered all the corpses, and now I have to go back to the same dioramas I saw before with the new information that I have and try and piece together who.
Oh, that's really cool. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
later mysteries you've solved, you kind of go back and realize, oh, that's really
it's,
cool.
It's like a logic puzzle, more or less.
Oh, I like that. And
It's
so like
sick.
the game mechanic, it's not like combat or anything. It's not
No.
even platforming.
Yeah.
It's just like it's like puzzle solving.
Yeah, it's
that's really
exactly
cool.
puzzle.
I
It's
love-
the
yeah.
it's the same person who made Papers, Please, if you remember that game.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I do remember that game.
Yeah.
I never played it.
Me
I didn't
neither.
play it.
Like,
I didn't play it
yet.
either. It's
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Dan,
Yep.
what do you got, Dan?
Well, I'll throw another not as I guess well-known game. Maybe it is.
I mean, your last
but it's
nut
like-
pick was God of War. So
Yeah. He's like, he speaks like the biggest games. Yeah, okay.
It's a PSVR game. It's called Astrobot Rescue
Sick.
Mission.
cool,
Okay.
dude. I want to play
Sorry,
that
what's
game.
it called?
Same.
Astrobot.
Astrobot Rescue Mission.
Okay.
So for PlayStation VR, they have all these like little demo games and stuff you can play, and they have these little games where you play as like these little like they almost look like PlayStation designed like little robot characters, and they have ones where like you're one that's like more of like a platformer level, and they have this one where it's more of like you're hunting ghosts and stuff. Well, they took this little character from these like demo games that they released, and they came out with like a kind of just a straight up like platformer game. Some people have like said like, hey, this is kind of like almost like a Super Mario 64 for the PlayStation VR, and it's pretty close to it. It's really good. But it's like a third-person kind of view. You're hanging behind the little character in the game. You're going through levels and you're trying to collect coins and stuff. But it's interesting because you control the little guy, this little robot, and you're navigating him through levels, and he's like bouncing on beams and collecting coins, and he's using his weapons to either attack enemies or to jump over top them and stuff. But then you are also a character as like the camera kind of, and you have to avoid things that are being shot at you. So like while you're wearing the headset, you have to like dodge enemy bosses that are like shooting like cannons and stuff like that at you. Like, so it's really interesting. It's like these kind of two levels of interaction where you're controlling this little character, but then you're also like you in that world avoiding things and helping out too. So it's really fun. I haven't gotten too far into it yet. I've only really played a few levels, but from what I played, like it's so much fun. And like the boss battles that I've played are awesome. Just really, really great game.
This is the game that made me want to buy a PSVR because I've heard a lot about this game from this year. They're this game and another game, which I won't mention, was like the reason to buy a PSVR.
Drunken Bar Fight? Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
I don't know that one either.
That one. And Pornhub.
That's a game now? Yeah. Oh, shit.
Yeah. It's always been a game.
Yeah. You are the guy in the corner. But Astrobot, it sounds really cool. I'd be super interested in playing. Like I really want a PSVR, but I also don't have the space for it, and it's also a lot of money. So it's just one of those things.
It is coming down in price too, and I think it is one of the games that's being bundled with the PSVR.
Is it? Okay,
well.
maybe I'll look into it. I think
it's a system seller.
I think my perfect price for a PSVR, because I'm cheap, is
$200.
$200.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll go quite that low. What's it at?
It was at
like?
$250.
Is it $250?
It went $250 for Boxing Day.
Wow, really?
Shit. Not Boxing
my
Day.
dad has one.
Black Friday.
It's pretty cool.
Friday. Yeah.
I've played it I've played it a decent amount. There's some pretty cool games.
But the wiring on the PSVR,
well, that's what I'm.
It seems like a complete mess. Dan, you can speak to that. Is it just a lot of wires?
It's really not. It's really not too bad. Like I just have my PSVR box like just plugged in permanently right beside my PlayStation 4.
Yeah, there's like a hole in the box you got to plug in though.
I unplug it like sometimes just to get the headset out of the way, but then whenever I want to plug in the headset, it's like super easy, just like two cables. It does definitely get in the way with any sort of like game capture device type stuff. You do have to like unplug a lot of cables. And our friend Justin, who's been on the podcast, he can attest to that. We've been like maybe half an hour, 40 minutes trying to get like game capture devices hooked up in my place, because of my PSVR. But it's definitely a lot of fun. It's not gonna be right for everybody. If you do, or if you're a little susceptible to like motion sickness or like, you don't have a good time at like 3D movies, you're probably not gonna have a good time with PSVR.
Right.
If you don't, you'll have fun.
How much space do you need? Like
storage?
Just like physical, literal physical space to.
Physical space.
Are you jumping around a lot?
I just move my coffee table out of the way. That's really the only thing I do, and then I've got a chair that I just sit in front of.
La-di-da, Mr. Coffee Table.
Brag.
Fancy, humble
PS
brag.
Pro and a coffee table. God,
wow. Okay, we get it. You're rich scientist. Okay.
We're going round 3. Oh wow.
Yeah, there's still some big ones I haven't been mentioned yet.
I'll say it.
Thank you. So I don't have to.
Last one.
Super Mario Party.
God damn it.
Yeah, we played that last night.
Yeah. It's Mario Party fun. But
it does make you hate each
That's
other.
not the
Moving
game
on.
Tom's nominating.
Yeehaw. That's my segue.
God, you're good at this.
I can role play like I do with Arthur Morgan and Red Dead Redemption 2. Hey. So I have a weird relationship with Rockstar games because I've never finished one, and to this date I still haven't finished this one either. But I would say this is the furthest I've ever gone into a Rockstar game.
It's a good game.
It is a weird.
It's a long game.
It's a long ass game. The prequel to Red Dead Redemption 1.
I'm so pissed they called it 2. It's sorry.
Yeah.
It's just dumb.
What would you have named it?
1.5.
Just you call it Red Dead. You call it Red Dead something else that starts with R.
Okay.
Not that, because like the first one was Red Dead Revolver, then it was Red Dead Redemption, and this one's not even a sequel. So why call it 2?
Red Dead Dance Revolution.
Well,
That's right. Arthur Morgan's
RDR. Something. I don't know what I'll think of one by the end of the episode.
That bugs me too. But that aside, the game is incredibly deep in like
yeah.
an overwhelming way.
Yeah,
There's
very much.
so many systems happening in this game. It's beautiful, like to look at.
Yeah.
It definitely put me off for the first, like, I would say 6 hours because
really?
Arthur Morgan is such a slow walker.
Oh, God.
And it is very hard to like. I'll say this right now. I think the combat in that game is not very fun.
Really?
I don't like
Yeah.
the third-person shooting in that game because you're not.
It's the first time I haven't turned aim assist off in a
'cause
game like this. I'm like, I have to. Like, I
have
can't
to.
ride on horseback and shoot at people.
No,
It's
exactly.
hard.
I'm like not that
Yeah.
good.
And like ducking from cover to cover is you don't need to really.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like popping in, popping out,
Dead eye.
dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. You're not wrong.
But like now I'm just shit talking it. But
Yeah.
but there's something about this game. Like I don't know. I think it's like the sum of its
Yeah.
parts that really
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
suck you in because every individual thing is like, all right, I skinned that animal that took 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm eating this thing that's taking also 30
Yeah.
seconds
Yeah.
for some reason.
Cooking this meat here.
it's a choice they stick with though, and I appreciate that.
They go hard on.
So
that. Yeah.
this game's actually really ripe for discussion.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a whole YouTube video about this guy who's an animator in the game industry, and he doesn't say where he works, but he doesn't work at Rockstar, and he's examining Red Dead, and he basically talks about the pros and cons of having like Arthur Morgan pick up every object and loot everybody and skin every animal and like all slow, and it's like it's a lot of time, but it does kind of suit the atmosphere. It's a choice
really
they
does,
made.
yeah.
10 years in the making, I think.
This game's 10 years in the making.
It was
I
10
find that hard
years.
to believe. Really?
No, it was like 8 to 10 years. It's something like that.
And maybe they must have started right after Red Dead 1.
It was long. They had a lot of people work on this game.
Yeah,
for
I guess
sure.
yeah, but it's like GTA 5. The shooting in GTA 5 is not that good either.
I think
the
Rockst-
drive. The
I think
driving
it's just
is really good.
Rockstar's game design.
Rockstar
their mechanics
can
and-
change their. They need to change their.
But
shooting.
Rockstar is it's a bit like Skyrim, where Skyrim, great game, everybody loves it. The combat in Skyrim sucks. If you're not using a bow and you're
Yeah.
not sneaking everywhere, it sucks. So, but the game lets you do so many things that you kind of overlook it. When a game lets you do 100 different things, you sometimes don't look at like how good each of one of those 100 things is.
No,
like I'm getting pissed off with the hunting right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Where I'm trying to hunt legendary animals, I go to their thing and I'm camping out days and days and days, and I'm not finding their
Right, yeah,
tracks
yeah.
and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, it's a video game. I should go to the area, and it should be pretty easy to find them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, agreed.
But it's cool to see how many things that they cram into that.
It's a great fucking
It's
game.
So
I love it.
insane. Like you
I'm
fish,
glad you said it.
can gamble, you can
Yeah.
hunt, you can rob people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
go ahead.
Well, we can get into it later. It's kind of a point against it, but
I think there's several points
Sure.
against it, but I think it's just massively impressive just because it's like the biggest game
The
that I've
story's
ever
so
seen.
great. I haven't
Yeah.
finished it, but the
The
story's
story
great
is pretty
so far.
good. Yeah, the story's pretty good so far. I would say I'm like 30 hours into the
Okay.
game.
Yeah.
It's
know
also
what
another
chapter you're
game.
on?
4.
Oh wow.
Um,
Okay. You got a ways to go, buddy.
Yeah. I think there's 6. Isn't
Yeah,
there
and then there's like
6?
2 epilogues.
Yeah.
Oh, is there?
Apparently,
yeah,
I don't
I'm on
know.
Chapter 6 right
That's
now.
such a long
Yeah, I'm
game.
on chapter 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those games where you're just playing it for hours and you feel like you've done nothing, and
Yes,
then
that was what I was gonna
hours pass by and you're like, "What
Yeah.
the fuck have I
Yeah,
done?
exactly.
It's like,
Yeah.
I've done nothing."
I changed
Yeah,
my
yeah.
clothes a bunch
I
of times.
I pet my horse. like, good boy.
I play
okay.
dress up in that game so much.
Real quick, what'd you name your horse, everybody?
Ooh.
I named a couple different.
Oh.
So I have 3 horses right
Okay,
now.
okay.
I'm waiting for the 4th one. I've got kind of a 4 horses of the apocalypse thing going on.
nice.
That's a good one.
So
Okay.
I make them
nice,
look as
nice.
scary as possible,
Yeah,
and
nice.
one's like plague, and one's named despair, and I forget what I named the war horse, but I need to find one for like famine or something.
Yeah,
You know,
I called
I liked it.
mine-
What were you?
Okay, I had 3 horses. Named one XXSSJ Goku XX
Horse. Yep.
69.
Yep, 6'9".
I named another one Brick Squad, and the last one was Spider-Man Sucks.
Oh,
wow.
Damn! Did tongue?
mine weren't that impressive. I,
420 blaze it. Bong
Exactly.
hits.
Bojack.
that's okay.
Bojack
Yeah, that's
was
a good one.
one,
Clever.
and Copernicus. Because every time I do improv and I have a horse, it's Copernicus the first name I
Really?
think of. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Dan, you've played a little bit of this game, yeah?
I played a little bit. I might be in like chapter 2, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, not too far. I've only had like I think 2 horses. I did name my first horse, and I feel really bad. I forget what I called it. And then my second horse,
Horse
I
2.
believe I just called him Horse actually. I named him Horse.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's a good name.
boy.
Yeah, that game's cool, and I think Arthur Morgan's an awesome protagonist. He's
I took a while to come around to him. For me.
I will say, so this kind of gets into my whole thing with the.
Sure.
I'll bring it up now. It's kind of a light point. when I actually first saw the first trailers for it, I was like, oh, this guy looks like an asshole. I don't like him.
Yeah.
And I said that on Reddit, and I got death threats.
Oh.
So like somebody actually, it's my most popular comment on Reddit, but
Nice.
some guy was like, you're a fucking bitch, and I'm going to kill you.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. And I was like, okay, that's a bit harsh. But I've been playing the game. I do like Arthur. I'm getting into it. However, when I started playing the game, I was like, I'm going to lean into this. I'm going to be a bad guy. I'm
Yeah.
going to be dishonorable. And the honor system is, it does not reward you for being
I
dishonorable.
was.
No.
This is something
It's
wanted
bullshit.
to get into.
Yeah, honor
It's
system's
bullshit.
bad.
I had someone on YouTube explain. I had them. They explained it on YouTube, and it's like, here's these 7 different tiers of all these awesome unlocks you get if you're a good person, and there's one if you're a bad person, and it sucks.
Yeah.
And they're like, but you get more money. It's like, fuck that. Everything's cheaper if I'm a good person.
It's true.
Like,
And
so it's like, so it actively, it gives you the choice. It gives you the illusion of choice, which I don't like.
I'm glad someone else brought this up. I thought I was like what
No,
is this
I
a
wanted to be
ripoff, man?
because
Like, yeah.
I'm always like a goody two shoes in games like Mass Effect. Mass Effect 2 I played through 4 times, and I was basically Paragon in all of them. all 4 times. Maybe did one Renegade ending once just
Yeah.
for the hell of it.
Kick
but
somebody
it's
out
like,
a window and that's it.
exactly. But it's just like, no, I punched that woman in the stomach. I'm terrible. But in Red Dead I was doing it, and it's like, oh no. Like I'm
just bad, yeah.
I'm like, but like, yeah, you don't really get anything for being bad.
No, yeah.
People just hate you, which I get. Like it's dissuading you, but like.
Yeah.
Games always suck when you're the bad guy.
I hear
Yeah.
you. I hear you. How many times have you been kicked by a horse in that game?
Less than 10. Less than 10.
I got kicked once, and then one time the game bugged out and it kicked like an NPC, but really far.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
And I wish I like got it on video. It
Oh,
was so
that is
fun.
a big, because we've been shitting on it a little bit. That is a big thing. You go and you're wandering, and I have like a great legitimate story. I have a story that I tell people about one of the times I played Red Dead and how I jumped on a train and I got taken across the map and I didn't have my horse, and then I found a Viking helmet and a Viking hatchet, and like it was thunder and lightning and raining and wolves attacked me twice, and I killed them with the hatchet, and I walked back into town all bruised and battered. It was like, that's cool. And
That's
that
cool.
wasn't scripted. And
Yeah.
So that kind of shit is awesome. That
Yeah.
game is great.
That game's great. Angus, go ahead.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, because I was gonna have to say it if you didn't, because it is a great game and it deserves to be at least mentioned.
Yeah.
This one I'm glad I get to mention though, because this was my favorite game to play multiplayer this year.
Mario Party.
Super Mario Party.
No, Monster Hunter World.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
nice, nice. Yeah.
that was a great game. It was a great. It's a great intro. I've wanted to be into Monster Hunter games for so long, because I played the first one on the PS2 like years and years ago, and I just couldn't really get into it because there weren't like it didn't explain anything to you.
Yeah.
But this is basically like, it's got like a Destiny kind of format where it's got like a hub world and stuff like that. And it's a great game, and I would group up with my friends. We all had different weapon types. We'd go into it. Became this kind of thing where it was a bit like a chore, because we'd come home and be like, shit, we gotta go kill some monsters tonight. But when you got into the flow of it, like so I played with like a long sword. One of my buddies would play with the insect glaive, so he could like get on top of monsters. If you guys haven't played this,
I played it.
This will all be gibberish.
I think we've all played it. Yeah.
I have
Yep,
not
no,
played
we
it.
played it.
I've seen a lot of people play it.
And one of my buddies would play with a bowgun. And so like we had like a squad, and we had our own kind of tactics and stuff like that.
Cool.
We had like one guy, like, or my buddy with the bowgun, he would kind of hang back and he'd be able to call shots and stuff like that and be like, okay, everybody get out of the way so I can blow it up. It's a very unique experience. I don't know, there aren't many other games where it's like every fight in it is basically a boss fight.
Yeah,
I guess
it
kind of
is.
Shadow of the Colossus.
Sure.
But that's like a
Yeah.
million years old. This game, it's a great game. It's
Yeah.
a very cool game.
Dan, did you beat that game?
No, I didn't beat it actually. I got pretty far into it though, but like, see, the problem was that I wanted to play it. It was like kind of this. I have a similar story to you. Like, I hadn't really played any other Monster Hunter games. I've wanted to for a really long time, and I dove into it because I was talking to some friends who were kind of interested in it, and then none of them picked it up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
That's
I had
probably
no
the
one to
biggest
play
strike
with.
against it. Is
Right.
it kind of
Yeah.
sucks in single player. Like, I still beat
Yeah.
it, and I did a bunch of it single player, and I beat the main story.
Right.
I haven't killed every monster yet, and they've added more since then.
Yeah, and
But-
special events and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
but I will say it was because I tried to break this down. My 3 nominations were like a AAA game, an indie game, and then a multiplayer game.
Yeah. Cool.
And Monster Hunter was my favorite multiplayer game so far.
Nice.
Oh, interesting. Cool.
Well, yeah, I haven't
yeah.
done. Yeah.
I have things to say about Monster. I didn't get too far into it. I played up to, I don't know, like 5-6 hours in. I really
Wow, that's really not even
yeah.
scratching the surface. It's a long game.
This is also my first Monster Hunter game. Really, I was
It's a lot of
dying to
people's
get
first
into
one,
it.
yeah.
I think it is more accessible. I guess like it felt like
Yeah.
a little less daunting than the other ones, and the combat was tough to get into as it is. It's a Monster Hunter game. I had to like go to YouTube videos to like find the
Yeah.
perfect combo
Right.
and like
To
button
like
timings.
learn how because there's 14 different weapons and they all play wildly
Yeah, so
differently.
That's cool.
I
Which is
learned
very
how to
cool.
do it,
That's
which
cool.
was cool. But and then other games came out, and then I
Yeah.
dropped it. So
That's fair.
fair
That's fair.
enough.
That's
It
what
happens.
happened, yeah.
It
There
happens.
was the only so I didn't play Monster Hunter World, but I've seen a lot of people stream it. The thing I always found really fascinating in that game is you have these giant transforming weapons that
Yeah,
can like
it's
morph
really
into
cool.
different things. You have giant like armor, wicked looking like pauldrons made of skulls of dragons, and you're
Yeah.
about to go fuck up this beast. You hit it, 10 damage.
Yeah. You got to get in your combos and stuff like that.
It's so like,
But it is satisfying to hunt something, kill it, take its skin, and wear it as armor. It's
Yeah,
like I've killed this dragon enough times, I can make a whole suit out of armor out of it. which
That's
is
how I
good.
approach Comic-Con every year.
Kill
humans.
Kill humans and wear their skin.
that's my cosplay.
That's right.
Oh, your face is
take
slipping
their
off a
teeth.
bit.
Oh, sorry. Loop.
There you go.
Just had my Danny DeVito skin kind of peeling off of me.
It's a little too small for you. It's stretching quite a bit. It's upsetting.
Yeah.
It's just the face. Yeah, it's yeah.
Some may say
It's
I look like
tearing.
Pikachu. But,
Yes, yeah.
Ethan.
Hi. So
Hello.
every game that I had written down has been nominated.
Oh, this is
Ooh.
interesting. This has never happened.
Every game.
Literally every game.
Wow, this has never happened.
That's never happened before.
So-
this is a first.
So I have a game that has not been nominated. I did not play it though.
Okay.
I saw people play it. This game is on my list to play.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
But you've seen
we
enough.
might have
I've
played it,
seen
yeah.
it. Yeah.
You've
So
seen
this
enough?
game's called Into the Breach.
Oh,
Okay.
it's on my honorable mentions. I haven't played
cool.
it yet either.
Yeah.
Explain.
Has anyone played this?
No.
No, my coworker
No.
played it.
I've
in
heard
front
really
of me.
good things about
Okay.
it. Can you describe what it is?
So as far as I have seen, it is a run-based game similar to Dead Cells, where you conquer islands, and it is a mech strategy game. So you have a squad of 3 mechs, each have their own kind of like way of combat. Some can like shoot longer distances, one can be like a close combat expert and stuff like that, and you're basically just trying to get through each levels. And the levels are tile-based, I should say. So it's like, if you think of like a chessboard, you drop your mechs onto this board, and then the enemies pop up, and you have 3 turns to just like I think kill all the enemies, or at least have
There's like an
them-
objective, yeah.
There is an objective, yeah. So I think the main objective is not to take any grid damage or power damage, if I remember correctly.
So you are missing one
Yeah.
really cool aspect
Yeah,
of this
please,
is that
please.
you're not just mechs, you're giant mechs.
Okay, yes.
And that like some of the tiles are small cities and you're protecting them from giant monsters.
Yes.
Oh,
Which
cool.
is the reason I like, oh, that seems really cool.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
a
yeah.
turn-based kaiju defense.
Pacific Rim.
It is a little it is very much.
Oh.
Yeah.
So is
Yeah.
Charlie Day in the game?
Yeah.
He is. He
Okay.
is. His character's
end boss?
kind of
Yeah,
lame.
he's the final boss.
They don't really explain why you need 2 people to pilot the ride. Sorry, I've got
You
my
need 2 people.
I have problems with that movie.
So there is so you do get to choose between
Yeah.
like these 3 mechs, but there's also other teams of mechs you get to choose from, and I think you unlock them as you go through the game, and they also have their own unique ways of combat
Yeah.
and fighting.
I've
So-
heard
Did you
a lot
play
about this
FTL?
game.
Oh, did you guys play FTL? Because it's the same developers that made
Oh, okay.
FTL,
Yeah.
which is a game came out when I was in college learning how to make video games. FTL came out and it blew us all away. It was
Right.
like kind of Star Trek. It's like you guys haven't played FTL?
I have FTL.
Oh, it's fucking great.
Yeah.
It's faster than light, and you're like a spaceship, and you basically like have this crew, and it's like a really well done game. So that's why Into the Breach is on my list.
Yeah.
But I haven't gotten around to it.
yeah.
So many games, guys.
Apparently it's
We
good on
have-
Switch. My coworker had it, and he's like he was
the Breach?
Yeah, he played it on Switch. He would, but he'd play portable. He'd bring it in the office. And
Nice.
play it
That's
there.
what I like about the Switch, man. You can bring that shit portable. So
I've got my thoughts on the Switch.
Say it right now.
Well, we'll get into Smash, but I basically had to like buy a controller to play Smash properly.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Like that's my
Yeah.
gripe against
Yeah.
Smash. But it's a
Well-
great game, and I love it.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we will.
We'll talk about
We're
it.
doing it right now.
You're right.
All right, Dan. Yeah, put your nomination. Oh, this is the last one.
Yeah,
This
it
is
is.
it. Dan, give it to us.
Oh, okay. Well, I think this is one that Tuong has been waiting for me to say this whole time.
Lord. Here we go.
And it is Super Mario Brothers 2. No,
Yeah. Great game.
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna say Fallout 76.
Okay,
yeah.
interesting.
Gonna have that on their list, I think.
Among the worst games of 2018 in many people's list.
I hear some
Well,
bias.
Hear him out.
Yeah.
I have friends who are playing it and they're
yeah,
loving it.
Dan loves it.
Yeah, I have.
I love it. Yeah.
Dan, explain
Yeah.
it to me. Explain your obsession.
Okay. Okay. So the thing I'm gonna say first of all is that like I'm not like a long time Fallout player, but I really jumped into 4, and before 4 came out, like I was like hyped about it. So I played 3. Never played New Vegas actually, but I own it. I don't know. I just really fell in love with this like big open world, kind of similar to how Skyrim is, and just I love the base building aspects of it, where you can just sink tons of hours into designing a little house in this like post-apocalyptic world, kind of dressing it out with all like your defense items and stuff. And it, for the first time, it's multiplayer Fallout as well. So I've been able to hop in with some different groups of friends and play together. And they have little benefits for playing together with your friends. Being able to share different perks amongst them too.
I have a question about the base building.
Yeah.
Is it like the base building in 4? Because the base building in 4 was kind of good. Like at least the technical component of it, like placing objects and stuff, was pretty solid.
There's some things that are better and some things that are worse.
Okay, all right.
So 4, it was like I don't know, the textures for a lot of the stuff looked a little bit basic. I felt not as much like not as many options. If you built a structure and you wanted to change something, like you had to like deconstruct it. Here, if you just wanted to like change a wall to have like a like a window or a door kind of thing, it's easier to do that type of stuff. So definitely like huge improvements there.
Okay, cool.
But there was like a little bit of jank with 4's building where you could kind of like there's little hacks and stuff to make things happen and design things the way you want it, and it's just not as forgiving in this game. Like here, it's like it has to snap this exact way, or it has to be placed like this. So I don't know. I think I get what they're doing. Like they want it to make it seem a little more like believable how structures would be built, but I also kind of miss that little bit of like, oh, I can kind of fudge this up a little bit and get this aligned to the way I want it to be. But that being said, I still really love all the building that I've been able to do, and I just love that you can like it's not relegated to like certain areas. Like if you want to like build your camp like on like this river or something, you can do that. If you want to build it on the side of the of a mountain like I have, you can do that as well. So like it's really cool where you can like kind of pick up and place your camp in this game.
Dan, I have a question for you. What is your objective in this game? What are you trying to do? Because I heard there's not really a story.
It's a survival game, so.
I heard it's okay, sure, but it's not like Fallout, the other Fallout games, right?
No,
like,
sorry, go ahead, Dan.
No, if you want to chime in, go ahead.
Well, no, it's just because I used to play a lot. I played a lot of Ark, Survival Evolved,
okay.
which is a survival game. I guess there is a narrative to that one. You are like trying to beat these raid bosses, but mostly it's just like surviving, gathering resources, building the coolest stuff you can build.
and is it cool to build stuff in that game?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, not just like your camp, but you can build armor, you can build weapons, and like the game is really kind of focused around like again like it being a team game, multiplayer game. That hey, I'm gonna sign with my friends, and my one guy is our guy who works on guns. Like he's our gun guy. If I need to repair a gun or I need him to make one, I'm gonna go to him rather than me trying to be like this jack of all trades. Or the same thing goes for armor in the game, whether it's like regular armor or like the really badass power armor, or like whether it's gonna be like defenses for your base, like that kind of stuff. Like the idea is that if you're playing with your friends, each one has one of their jobs, and like some of the groups I've played with, they've already organized that like, okay, this guy over here, he's gonna be like our pistol guy, and this guy's gonna be our heavy weapons guy. So whenever you get like ammo for that type of gun, give it to that guy, rather than him having to make it. Because you can't really sell the ammo in the game, and there is like weight associated with the ammunition you use in the game too. So again, it like really dives even further into the whole like survival thing. So the story is, there's still some really like pockets of like really good story in the game. A lot of it's going to be told through like journal entries and holotapes and stuff like that in the game. But there is still like some good stories happening. But it is more on the side of like survival and collecting resources and fighting like these really big like bosses, almost like kind of like Monster Hunter, like a little bit. Like you're gonna like team up and fight like these ginormous like beasts in the game.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds neat. I mean,
Doesn't seem salty.
I'm just hesitant because
You're hesitant
I know
'cause everyone else hates the game.
everyone hates it, but I've seen
I
like,
have friends playing it, and
I've
they
seen
love
like gameplay footage, and it hasn't really like wowed me or anything like that. But I can like speak to Dan's love for it, because like big games like Red Dead came out, Smash came out, and every time I'm on my PS4, it says Dan Foerster, Fallout 76 right underneath.
Well, so I get this a bit. Like I was not a huge fan of Fallout 4, so I didn't get sucked into 76, but like I said, I've played hundreds and hundreds of hours of Ark, and that is a terribly buggy game. Terribly buggy game with lots of problems, but there's something about it that makes it fun. The game loop itself, like that's the technical term for it, is basically the things you find yourself doing every time you log in. Like even the stuff that he's saying where it's like, oh, we've got our pistol guy and we've got our armor guy. It's like, that's kind of what we did in Ark too. It's like you didn't all learn every recipe to every build, everything. So you kind of like have this community with your friends and you've got this base that starts to become this like small like commune town, even sometimes if you build your own buildings. There is a very satisfying element to it because it isn't a story driven game. I was surprised to hear there's story in it because you kind of, it's one of those games where you kind of make your own story.
Dude, you build your own story here.
Yeah, you do. You do. And you run into other. Dan, are you playing on a PvP server? / is there a difference between PvP? Are there PvE servers for 76?
I don't think there's any difference with that. Now I could be corrected, but when you sign in, it just says you're loading into a world. The PvP system in the game is interesting because, like, for the most part, it really feels more like a PvE game. But like, let's say like some guy like he shows up beside me, he starts like firing his gun at me. Like if I don't engage, the pistol damage or whatever kind of damage he's doing to me is like pretty small.
Okay.
If I engage in that fight, then it's like, okay, it's on, and then the proper damage applies. Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like they describe it as being like you have a little, like little slap of the face, before you actually, decide to fight. So I mean, I haven't really gotten into that myself. That's not what really interests me with the game. I'm more about like the collaboration with your teammates and like just taking down the big beasts and stuff.
Well, cool, Dan.
It's there for the people that
sounds like
Dan, I wish you could see Tuong's face.
Taste in video games. I don't know why I invited you.
Never mind. You can hear his voice. You know what his face is looking like right now.
It's my Danny DeVito face.
That's why. It's slipping again. Okay, I think we need to take a break so we can fix your face.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna take a break. No, Dan. For real though, I do appreciate that how much you love this game. Amongst all the bad talk about this game, I can't actually speak to the game personally because I haven't actually physically played it, but I do appreciate how much you love this game. Kind of like how I like the bagel belt at Tim Hortons.
Now you're spoiling. You're spoiling for the episode.
Hey, well, but
I want you guys to know.
I'm teasing it out.
Yeah, the way he's reacting to 76 is the way the entire world reacted to the bagel belt.
Anyways, we're going to take a break. We're going to eat a bagel belt, maybe smash each other in the face a little bit, and let's rank some games after.
Let's do it.
Sounds good.
Hey everyone, hope you're enjoying top 5 video games of 2018. Now I'll keep this short because this episode is long enough as it is. But essentially, I just wanted to mention that we are affiliated with Amazon. So if you ever wanted to show your love for the Pod Cavern, don't want to pony up some money, that's fine. We are not asking for any money, but podcasting is a little bit expensive. So if you want to show us some love, head on over to www.podcavern.com or head over to our Facebook or social media pages where our affiliate link is posted. Basically, anytime you buy off Amazon, we get a small percentage of that cut, and it's just a great way to show us some love. So enjoy the rest of the episode and enjoy us arguing extensively about the top 5 video games of 2018.
Top five.
Hey, we're back. And we have a list in front of us, don't we? We have quite the list. I'm actually really excited to start talking about these things. So as we have it right now, we have Celeste, we have Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man, I should say, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, God of War, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, we have Dead Cells, Return of Obra Dinn, right? Oprah Din.
You get a video game.
Yeah. Astrobot Rescue Mission, Red Dead Redemption 2, Monster Hunter World, Into the Breach, and Fallout 76. You know what to do. We need to make a top 5 list here. Star the ones that we want for further discussion, and we can go from there.
Nice.
Thoughts?
First off, I think the one that will be in the top 5 is Dead Cells. I think from our just initial,
I'm on board for starring that one.
Initial enthusiasm from everyone here. I think that
want to star Dead Cells.
I will start Dead Cells. I am interested that you said that.
Yeah.
Did not expect that.
I didn't either. I thought you were going to go. So I'll jump in then.
Sure.
I think we should start Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
I know we shat on it a bit, but it is a great game.
Further discussion.
Yeah, I'm
I guess
further for that
we'll
one.
do one of these here where I'll star one and then Dan, you star one after. I'm
Yeah.
gonna star God of War.
Ooh, nice. I'm not gonna fight that.
No, don't. Please.
And then I'm gonna star Spider-Man.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay, from
I
here
knew
on
those,
out.
those big three were going to get started.
Yeah, they
for
had
sure.
to be starred, and now we're in like the tricky business here,
Yeah.
right? What do we think here?
Is Smash Bros. Getting started?
I fucking love Smash Bros.
I
guys.
like it too. I'd say start. It's probably in
Yeah.
the running, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna start because I think there's lots of discussion to have on Smash Bros.
So I have a direct competition for that is DBZ Fighters or
Oh,
Dragon Ball
right. That
Fighters.
is two fighting games.
So that is for me, it's Dragon Ball Fighters.
You never played Smash
Interesting.
Bros. though.
No.
The new Smash Bros.
Yeah, that's true. I've only played a little bit of DBZ Fighters. I'd have to give the edge to Smash Bros, but I also own Smash Bros. Like it's
It's one of those situations, right?
but it's also like Smash Bros is the kind of thing too where like you turn items on and you get a big group of people and like everyone can kind of play. But
I remember we played Ethan when Dragon Ball Fighter Z came out. We had our mutual friend Adam
Yep.
invite us over to play, and I've only been to one of those hangouts.
Yeah.
It was a big thing, beautiful game again, but very hard to. I mean, it was just one of those things where I wasn't having much fun because I was destroyed every single time.
Yeah.
It is a super complex game. And that's fine. Like it's a great fighting game, but I my enjoyment of the game definitely like depreciated because I was just being destroyed. Same goes for like actually playing the game online. Every time I jumped in very early on too, when there were still noobs playing, jump in, getting destroyed left and right.
do you own DBZ Fighters?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
So
Go
okay,
ahead, go ahead.
yeah. So I was slow. I could say the same argument for you because I know you came from a very competitive melee background for Smash.
Yeah.
So if I played you in Smash Bros. Just like off the bat like that, I'd probably get my ass kicked.
So I kind of walk the line in the middle here.
Yeah.
I never owned Melee, and I didn't own the Wii U one, and I didn't own the N64 one, but I owned Brawl. I was excited for Brawl. I played a bunch of it. Didn't get very good at it. Ultimate, I think I've gotten the basics down. I think I've gotten pretty good at it. My one big hitch with that is like I had to buy like a $90 controller because like like the Switch, the little Joy-Cons, I can't play like that. It's
No.
like it's and then even like the two Joy-Cons in the chassis or whatever we're calling it, we'll call it the normal controller, I guess.
Sure, you make the two controllers into one.
Yeah,
normal
the
controller.
2-for-1 controller, fine.
Yeah.
But the Pro controller feels really good.
Yeah.
And the GameCube controller is fine too.
The Switch controllers, like we can have a different discussion for the Joy-Cons. The Joy-Cons are not that great controllers at all, but at least it's if you have a set of two, that's two players right there. So it's exactly our situation last night where it's
Yeah.
just like we have two Joy-Cons. The people who don't really care to be good at this game or don't need that precision, here you go. Laura's one of those people where she's just like, I guess I want to play, I guess,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like,
No, she did pretty
hand me
well.
whatever controller, I
Right,
don't
yeah,
care.
yeah,
yeah.
And it was cool that we were able to just give her one, right?
yeah.
But you're right. It's not the ideal way to play that game at all. But the barrier, like for Smash Bros, it's the controls are way more simple than Z, right?
not necessarily, to be honest. Like
You think so? I think
so-
Fighter Z has way more mechanics to
so
that.
yeah, there is. That's the brilliance of this game is that it has that beginner level auto combo system where you can literally smash on the light button, the smash or the light attack, or smash on the medium attack, or mash on the heavy attack, and that will do auto combos, like the cool ass auto combos with a like a special finisher at the end, like a level 1
Right,
finisher
right,
at
right.
the end, and that is actually used in competitive matches as well.
Yeah?
It's like used efficiently, or like
Okay.
you can do the auto combo and like mash buttons and stuff like that and still win games at like lower levels, but as you progress you start like using those only in particular situations to start using the actual like meaty combos that you go into like into the lab and like practice over and over again.
Now, okay, and this might be I think this is gonna kind of a one-sided question, but I have to ask because I don't really know DBZ fighters that well. Like, how different do each of the fighters feel? Because I know it's a smaller roster, and I don't want to condemn it because it's got less characters. I don't think that's necessarily
No.
fair. But one of the strengths I think with Smash Bros is the characters feel fairly different.
How about those Echo Fighters?
Well, that's like
There's like
5 fighters out
yeah.
of 75.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. There's only a few Echo Fighters.
There's only a couple.
And they don't feel that different at all.
they have a couple different moves, but you're right.
Do they?
A few, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like
So-
Cannon or somebody? I don't know. I haven't
Dark
played all.
Samus, Dark Samus,
Oh,
shit
okay. I haven't
like
played
that.
them all yet.
So aside from
Yeah.
because there's 3 Gokus and there's 3 Vegetas in that game. Aside
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love me some
Damn
Vegeta.
it.
Aside from those,
Actually, there's technically 4, right? I think
there's
there's Goku
Gogeta?
Black.
yeah. Well, there's Goku Blast. Also Vegito in that game too. So it's like
God fucking damn it.
But Goku
Wait,
Black.
who's Vegito?
Vegito is the combination of Goku and Vegeta.
With the Patara earrings.
Oh, I thought that was I thought that was Gogeta.
No,
No,
Goji's
that's a
another
fusion-
one. That's a fusion dance. Yeah.
Oh, and that one's not canon until the Brawly movie comes
Dude,
out.
I was totally laid.
Bro, you probably have so much fucking sex, bro. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, I fusion danced before.
I know. No, that's just a three-way, dude.
Yeah,
That's just a three-way.
You're right.
That's just another guy that comes.
Yeah, you're right. The roster is smaller for sure.
Well, yeah, but I don't.
I don't
but
think we can get condemned for
I'm
that.
No,
more just like
yeah, but I'm just prefacing that.
uniqueness with the characters.
The uniqueness of the characters is all there.
Okay.
Yeah.
The good part about that is that the characters are unique, but the combos that you can do with them are kind of the same, like for each character. So you still kind of you can learn one character's set of moves. Obviously, their neutrals and their normal attacks, their special attacks are different, but they all of them have just like quarter circle back, quarter circle forward, like L1 or R1, R trigger special moves. Like every single one has that same method for using some of their level 3 specials and level 1 specials. So it's weird. It kind of walks this line between for people who aren't dedicated fighters or coming from other fighting games. It has that complexity for those people, but there's also this like side of it that it's really open to newcomers. I find.
Dan, do you have any thoughts on fighters or
Well,
Smash Bros?
so I don't own it, but I did. I did like the beta test weekend
Okay.
for PS4, and I really liked it. I had one fight online. I won the fight, and then
Nice.
I signed off immediately. 'Cause I'm like, that's it.
Perfect
Retire
record.
I'm the
on
best,
top.
undefeated. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the game looks amazing. I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. Like,
Yeah.
love Dragon Ball Z, love Dragon Ball Super. So, like, really, it should appeal to me. I didn't end up picking it up. Maybe just because I was holding out, maybe for like a sale weekend or something. But also, I was just trying to think of like who I'd end up playing that with. Because I don't think I'd really play it online because I'm not super competitive with those types of games. I'd rather just play with some friends at home.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the things with Smash Bros. Is the online isn't very good, right?
There,
was gonna
it's
ask
not
about
bad. So sorry, I should say it is not the best. Like the netcode's very basic, but if you're wired in, I have an Ethernet connection to my Switch,
I
which
don't
I shouldn't
know.
say that. That's a lame thing that you have to get for your
Yeah.
Switch.
Yeah, I've heard that sucks.
It sucks, but it's a $20 purchase.
Right.
It's completely worth buying. It's a Ethernet to USB port, and there's three USB ports on the Switch.
Oh, it doesn't even have an Ethernet port. So I gotta buy another fucking peripheral to play this game.
A $20 adapter. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And a $90.
Well, the wireless play for fighting games in general, and I'm gonna lump
Is not really great.
Smash Bros into fighting games right now.
Sure.
Yeah, no,
it's
it's a
not
fighting
worth doing that to yourself.
No.
Right?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
So I would recommend buying it anyways. It's lame it doesn't have that, but that's more of a knock on the Switch than Smash Bros. I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now the wireless or the actual Ethernet play for people online is if you are wired in, it is fine. It's not perfect, but lately I've had many matches which was pretty seamless. But I've also had some matches that sucked, and that usually happens when someone else is playing wireless.
Yeah.
So, for example, my cousin was playing wireless and I was wired in, and we were having a laggy connection. But I was
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
with another friend of mine. We were both wired, and it was fine.
Yeah.
So
Okay, yeah.
it's one of those things.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe it's distance between if we're both in Canada and you're in like Europe
Yeah.
or whatever the hell too. But the online's great. for
So
now.
how's the matchmaking?
matchmaking? There's problems in Smash Brothers.
Well, you
right
can't
now.
add bots either. That was the part I was confused by.
That's fine. I don't
Really?
need bots. I don't want bots in my,
I
my
do.
matchmaking.
I do.
Half
Half the fun is playing those big crowd. Like I like those. But anyway.
I think the problem with the matchmaking right now in Smash Brothers is that, and I think it's one of those games that has already like 3 updates since the game has come out.
yeah?
Right.
So this is a game that like Nintendo is caring for very carefully. So I imagine this will change. But essentially, Ethan, if we want to play one-on-one, 4 stock, no items, then it doesn't always let you do that. If it's just you and me that are playing, sure. But if I want to play a random person with that type of rule set,
Yeah.
it doesn't always give me that.
Right. Okay.
Because it depends on what everybody else wants too. So it's kind
kinda-
of like
that's a bummer.
It is
Yeah.
a bummer. So their online like matchmaking stuff, I think, can definitely get better.
Yeah.
I see it being better, but it's not there yet.
Not
you
yet.
can't even
Yeah, yeah.
online do like unlimited time limit.
Oh,
It
you
has to-
can't?
no.
Oh,
you
okay,
can
that
versus
makes
like
sense,
if me
though.
and Ethan were fighting, I think
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can do unlimited.
Okay.
But if it's like just randos, it's like it's a 10-minute max or something like that, which I guess
understand
I
that.
can make sense for that.
From a technical standpoint,
yeah,
that
exactly.
makes a lot of sense actually.
If I want to, well, I guess we can compare
We can-
Dragon Ball and Smash some more, but let's start a couple more.
I would
sure.
say, yeah. I right now, if it's down to those two, I give the edge to Smash. I'm not saying DBZ is out of the question.
I agree.
But
So let's start some other.
yeah, what are some other ones?
My heart's with Celeste. It
Okay.
really is.
Really?
It
Okay.
really is.
Yeah.
If I can just play a little bit of the music here, I know it's a little cheating here, but I just want to try.
We watched some game footage on the break.
Yeah.
It's hard to. You need to play it.
I do
think.
because I gotta say that the footage didn't really sell me on it.
I know
too much.
it's not.
Like
It's
even
so hard to.
like look at the Obra Dinn.
Yes.
the Return of the Obra Dinn was like, oh, this is new and different, and the art style's cool.
I'm telling you right now.
Whereas
like,
that the Celeste looked a bit like Braid to me, and just kind of like
you have to play it to like
Yeah?
appreciate it. I agree. Like I think when Dan, you looked at some footage of Celeste before, and you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Well, I saw screenshots before. And
Screenshots.
then I was like, whatever. But when I saw more of it, like live, like gameplay, I thought, well, this actually does come together really nice. Looks
when
good.
you're into it, it's good. Here's a little bit of some Celeste here.
don't play too much or we'll get sued. Oh, that's good.
I'm just gonna play a little bit of this. The music's all
It's a bit
kind of like this.
Yeah, it's a bit like Hotline Miami.
Yeah.
Wait, I'll just play like a good 40 seconds.
Wait till it gets to the drop.
Yeah.
Okay, number one. Yeah, you convinced me.
And
No.
And again, you're like just climbing the mountain, just trying to get past all these things. And, like
Yeah.
this music's really driving you. Like, I need to get past this.
It's good. It's intense. I like it. It is catchy. This would get stuck in my head. I can't remember any, like Dead Cells, for example. Can't remember any of the music.
Yeah.
The Smash music is stuck in my head a lot.
Smash Brothers music gets stuck.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Um,
get to the main melody here.
Oh. Wow.
Oh.
Oh. Ooh. It's
see what I
losing,
mean?
it's
It's just-
losing me a
it's-
bit with that little light floaty key.
Kind of switches it up. It kind of makes it
switches
like
it up,
well, no, I was like in a bad way.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
It's kind of
yeah.
like there's no like drama anymore. There's no like
Yeah,
tension.
they had
kinda
some
like-
tension and then they lost
The
it.
the
Anyway.
way this that part of the song moves into the actual like game,
Yeah.
it makes sense for that part. I don't want to ruin it, but
Okay.
it's just that uplifting part of it is embedded into the actual this is part of the game right now, the part of the story. That's why it's so
And we
uplifting.
do have 5 games start already.
I know, but
No, Celeste we can start. I don't know.
I want to talk more about it, but we'll move on.
Sure.
It's hard because I haven't played it.
Yeah.
So I don't have a ton to say about it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just from like discussing over the break, like that Hollow Knight level, the White Palace, it has like similar like kind of just like jumping puzzles and
Yeah.
like really really brutal like frame perfect like movement and stuff like that to get by these like these traps and these hazards and stuff like that. So I can understand where Celeste is coming from, I guess.
I think it's that, but it is that. That's the game
Yeah.
part of it. But then there's the added bonus of like here's this surprisingly cool like story
Yeah.
element to it,
Yeah.
combined with good music. So all packages like combined as like this elevates this more than just like a Meat Boy.
Sure.
To me, where Meat Boy it's cute and it's
Yeah.
just super punishing.
Yeah.
But Meat Boy is like it punishes you because it wants to punish you, right?
Okay.
It's just like
interesting.
it's
Yeah.
just like here's a bunch of spikes because we're fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Celeste is like this is hard, but you can get through this.
It's-
you
and it goes-
can do it.
Yeah,
Well,
'cause-
that's exactly it. Goes back to that metaphor you're saying. It's all
Yeah.
about like struggling with like depression and mental illness, right? It's like it's trying to get past this mountain. It's like all of these challenges are you can get through it.
That's
basically.
right, and it feels like that too. And when you do, you feel good. What else do we have here that we could possibly make the list?
Oh, I was gonna say something that probably won't make the list is unfortunately into the breach. That was like
That's fair.
kind of like a
Yeah.
honorable
It's one that I
mention
want
or,
to check
like-
out.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's, yeah.
I just didn't play it, and I just kind of threw it in there because I knew people really enjoy that game.
I'll do a Leslie. Looks like Into the Breach is just out of reach.
That's good.
Thank you.
That's good.
Yeah.
I was gonna have one, but
Oh, you got one? Go for it.
Looks like Into the Breach. Okay, so
Ain't
moving
no-
on.
Looks like Into the Breach ain't no peach.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
Like the first one.
it's pretty basic rhyming.
yeah.
Like, I mean,
You're now the rap god.
is this Saved by the Bell? Because Into the Breach is more like Into the Screech. Screech was a character on Saved by the Bell.
Yes, yeah, I got-
All right,
that's
we're
good.
done. We're done. We
Okay.
can move on.
Yeah, we're good.
A couple. I'll throw one out there just because it's one of my noms and we haven't talked about it, but I just kind of want to get final word on it before it gets crossed out. Monster Hunter World.
I didn't play enough of it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I
Fair
didn't
enough.
play it at all. So
Dan, you played a lot of it. So
Oh, did Dan play a
yeah,
bunch of it?
I played a pretty good amount of it. I don't know. It's really hard for me to say. I really want to put it on there for sure.
It's tough.
But I didn't have that experience with it that I really wanted to. So I think that's just my own thing.
Right.
Oh yeah. No, and a big thing for it too is kind of like a bit like Smash Brothers for me. It was a thing I had to play with friends.
Yes.
I didn't
Yeah.
enjoy it as much on my own. So I'm going to go ahead and Monster Hunter World.
Boy Meets World.
Ooh, good one.
But for Monster Hunter World, I'll say my thing with it is that I usually get to play like these games with like my cousin and stuff like that. And then like later, Ethan, some of our friends started playing it too. But by that time, I was already on like
You got it on PC, right?
Spider-Man and stuff. Like
Yeah.
on PC. So I was really stoked to play it. But the problem is like with I want to play it with someone on Discord and start playing through the game. But B, like when you have someone like that, they're steamrolling it when I don't have a lot of time to play video games in the first place. You have someone who's just always playing, and the next time it's the day after, and it's like, dude, I'm super high level. This is how you do it. I'm like, but now we're min-maxing the system, and we're not enjoying it anymore.
I will actually say one of the things it does, it's very good at balancing. I don't think it's going to end up on the list anymore. We don't need to start, but I will say when I did play it with my friends, I had friends that went ahead and got better gear. Yeah. When they joined me on my mission, they were scaled down to my level, which is a feature that I appreciated. I think it was something also that like Destiny does.
About like them already beating it and you haven't doesn't feel as you conquered it all together. It doesn't feel as good as if you all like face this thing for the first time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yep, that's fair.
But that's just part of the experience.
Yep,
like if I had that experience, I think I would have liked it.
Yeah, once you get past that, because I had that same problem.
Yeah.
But yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Monster Hunter World. Okay. I mean, there didn't seem to be a lot of love for Fallout 76. So is it not?
It's okay. I just had to say it.
No, I respect that. I truly respect that.
Big smile on my face here. No. I'm just kidding.
So what does that leave us with? We haven't started DBZ Fighters. I
started.
Oh, you've started?
Yeah,
Is it started? Okay.
I just started. So we have Celeste, we have Smash, we have Red Dead, Spider-Man, Dead Cells, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, and God of War. That's 3, 6, 7.
So we haven't talked about Return of Obra Dinn, which is now a game that after seeing footage for it, I really want to play it. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know if it sticks around. I can fight more for other games on that list than Return to Obra Dinn.
Fair.
For me, at least. Astrobot Rescue Mission.
Astrobot sounds really cool.
It does. Yeah. I'm not getting a VR anytime soon though. But does that mean we take it off because it sounds like it's a console. It's equipment selling.
I think it's cool that a VR game was even mentioned.
Yeah.
Like honestly, VR has been around for what, like 2-3 years now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally there's like some games that are like actually like, hey, I want to play
like a must-have. The thing I appreciate that too is it's not Killing Floor VR. It's not Doom VR. It's not Skyrim VR. It's not
Batman Arkham VR.
It's not an existing thing. It is a new thing. Right? It's not
it's a new thing.
Astrobot is not an existing property, right?
Astro Boy is.
I don't think so,
Yeah. Well, it's not Astro Boy though.
Okay, well it's not.
What if it was Astro Boy though?
So it sounds like Astrobot is in need of a rescue mission. Ooh. Because it's not on the list. Right? Hammer down? I don't know.
I guess so. Dan, thoughts?
I mean, it's a great game. It's really, really cool. Yeah, it is system selling. There are some other good games coming out for the PSVR that are like just very new and unique. I have another one I have for a special mention that I'll say later on.
Ooh. Okay.
But it was a tough call between the other one and Astrobot, but I decided to go with Astrobot just because I think it got a little bit better reviews and like it's just a little more like from my experience, it's a little more just fun to play. Like I feel more of the urge to go back to Astrobot than the other one.
Is that an $80 game?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't remember. Yeah. I don't think so. I think it was like 49 or something.
Well, it sounds like Astrobot has Astro got to go.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's not bad. If you did it with confidence, that would have been better.
Well,
too late now.
I didn't because you're the person in the audience who's just shaking your head like, don't do it. Don't do it. That joke, not going to fly. It did kind of fly. But since I shook my head,
I'll jump ship. Now I'll jump ship and get behind you. See, I do that because the audience can't see me shaking my head. That's true. Okay, so from what I see right now, we've got Celeste, we've got Spider-Man, we've got DBZ Fighters, we've got God of War, Super Smash Bros, Dead Cells, and Red Dead Redemption 2 all start.
Yes.
So that's 7.
I think from here we can start cutting, right? There's the rest seem
Yeah.
not going to make the list.
Well, so
Yeah.
the clear thing for me is I'm seeing we've got 2 indie games on here, Dead Cells and Celeste. Do we want both those on the top 5?
maybe.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Maybe because I like them both a lot.
If I'm being honest, I'm fairly certain God of War, Super Smash Bros, Red Dead, and Spider-Man are all making the list. It sounds like.
So I have an opinion that we may not even need Red Dead on the list.
Ooh,
I could be swayed.
interesting.
I could be swayed.
Okay, this is gonna
But
sound
maybe-
weird.
yeah, go ahead.
If we're dropping one of the big ones, I might get shit for this. I'd rather Red Dead on the list than God of War.
That's cool.
And I'll tell
I'm
you. I'll
liking
tell you why.
this.
I'll
All
tell
right.
you why.
Birdman hand rub right
I'll
now.
tell you why.
Here we are. We
I'm
finally made it.
I'm a huge God of War fan. Huge God of War fan. And I loved God of War on PS4.
Yeah.
I have to say though, I played it when it came out and I beat it, and I've played a lot of games since then. And if you asked me to remember details from God of War, I don't really remember them.
That's so interesting. 'Cause
yeah.
I feel the exact opposite.
Really?
I feel
Oh,
I
interesting.
remember a lot of the
Yeah, me
big
too.
beats in that game, and they
Yeah.
stuck with me.
So like Red Dead, for example, is like Red Dead 1 but better. God of War is not like any of the other God of War games, and that's a good thing. But it didn't bring the boss fights aren't that great in God of War, the new one.
No, I
And they're really good in the old games.
Yeah.
They kind
Yeah,
of
the
suck.
boss fights were a little lackluster. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, they're okay,
and
yeah.
it ended, and I was like, oh shit, it's over. Like I didn't fight a giant. Like you fight a drag. I guess you do you fight around a giant.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you don't fight the giant,
Mm-hmm.
and you fight a dragon, and it's kind of lackluster. Like it's
The
still
dragon was fine. I thought the dragon fight was fine.
yeah. Well, didn't really do it for me.
The one gripe I had with that is they always had just the reskin of that one like first frost
Yeah.
troll.
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
keep coming back. I'm like, man, do something a little different. I'm kind of with you with like the not really memorable boss fights in that game.
Yeah,
for sure.
good story, great story.
Great story.
Great story, great visuals, good voice acting. But then if I'm listening to all those things, I think the visuals in Red Dead are better. I think the story in Red Dead is better so far. I'm not done it, but it's a good story.
I'm kind of like
It's very
whatever. I'm kind
human.
of like whatever about the story in Red Dead, to be honest.
That's
Yeah,
fair. Yeah, that's fair.
I'm with
I
you.
could be the only one there.
Red Dead's story, it's built a world for sure. Like
Yeah.
it's a fully fleshed world and stuff like that. But like I've done like so many missions in Red Dead, and I remember not a lot of them really sticking out of me,
interesting.
like
So,
in the
yeah,
way
that's
that's
fair.
super memorable. I remember the Lenny mission really well because that was awesome. Lenny, when he was
Oh,
super,
so good.
that was super good. When you go
drinking
to the
at the
bar,
bar.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, that
Lenny. Yeah,
But
yeah.
nothing else really. Like you know, you have for me in Red Dead, like you have this mission where you're like, in Valentine, you're like trying to break out of Valentine, or like, you know, you're wanted and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
supposed to be a huge moment.
Yeah.
But I remember just clunking through the combat, just trying to like,
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
fair.
I know this is a big moment, but
Yeah.
and a lot of people are shooting at me, but it's just like dead eye, bam, bam, bam. But I didn't feel
Yeah.
that great
So,
about it.
Yeah, when I think of Red Dead though, it's like capturing the feeling of like I like Western movies for
I
the
do
most
too,
part.
yeah.
It captures the feeling of a Western movie, like how somber it is and how slow it is. It's doing that on purpose. Like I actually, it's but God of War says that it's like an open world game. It's not really.
I agree
Not
with that.
really.
Yeah,
But-
it's
but-
weird.
Yeah.
like Mimir, like the guy, the head on your belt.
Yeah.
like
Love
all
that
the
guy.
stories that he
Oh.
tells. That's great, and it blew my
So
mind.
good.
It blew my mind when you because I'm terrible for this kind of thing. In previous games, a character would start telling a story, and I would I'm about to get to the destination, but I want to hear the rest of the story. I'm gonna stop. But in God of War, they will, if you interrupt a story when you get
Yeah.
back in the boat.
Yeah.
But they do the same thing in Red Dead. It's fucking awesome. Anyway.
Yeah, he just continues. He's just like, oh, what was I saying?
Yeah, they just record them saying like 6 different ways of being like, what was I saying again? Okay.
Wait,
right.
when did they do that? I don't remember. Like, I always remember riding out to missions and someone's telling a story in Red Dead.
In Red Dead?
And then we get to the point of like, oh, we're here.
Oh.
And then they don't finish it.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
you
don't-
know
yeah,
what?
that for that stuff, yeah,
maybe
they
they do.
don't.
It's like story
I've
missions or
fallen
something.
off my horse,
Okay.
and then I get back on the horse, and they're like, "Where was I?"
I guess it
Oh,
depends.
okay,
If you get to
okay.
the
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you get to the destination in Red Dead, the story's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
But
story.
if you're like kind of dicking around, I
Yeah.
think you come back to
Yeah.
it. Thing is, there's a lot of fail things in Red Dead, which kind of bug me. Like
That's
in
fair.
the main mission, it's just like, wait a second, all I did was climb to the top of this roof to try to shoot somebody.
Sure.
In the same area, but the story didn't want you to do that. So it's just
Yeah.
like you fail, and I'm
Yeah.
like, why?
Oh, I haven't had that happen. But yeah, no, that's fair.
But I don't know if I need to cut Red Dead right now.
I don't know if I need.
Sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think they both. Honestly, I think they both deserve to be on the list.
I think God of War's combat is for me. For me, it's the best combat of the year.
Really?
I think it's the best combat of the year.
I found once I got the Blades of Chaos, I just only used those.
Dude, how
Really,
The
Leviathan
axe,
is so
the
good.
Leviathan axe. Everyone's like, it was so good. I'm like, Didn't feel
Dude, that
that good.
axe throwing
How-
is so good.
Yeah,
in
the
that.
axe throw is pretty great.
How hyped were you though when Freya was telling you like your axe is gonna be useless when you go to Helheim? And he's like looking down at his arms. And he's
Yeah.
all the scars and
Yeah.
chains. Like, yo, shit's about to get fucking
When he
real. Let's go.
when he dug them up, I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps.
No,
for
I did.
sure.
I did too, and I literally
Yeah.
wrote it down as like one of the best moments of the year.
Oh no!
Yeah.
That's a good point. Actually, when that happened, I might have told my friend that it was the best moment in gaming of the year.
Yeah.
That's a good
It's
point.
really
That's
good.
actually I said that I couldn't remember anything. That's definitely the most memorable part of the game for me. It's just them giving it back to you, and then you go on like a rampage.
Yeah,
against, like,
exactly.
really
Right
weak
then,
enemies.
yeah.
It feels so good.
Dan, thoughts?
Between those two, I don't know. Like I would, if we had to choose like one of those two, honestly, I feel like they're both just going to be on the list. But if I had to choose one of those two, I would still say God of War.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
But like not to besmirch, Red Dead. It's an amazing game. Looks
It's
amazing.
an
All the points you're
achievement,
making
yeah.
are very valid. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
But I
that's
would
fair.
still have to choose God of War.
How about we move
Okay.
move past that? I think I mean the Battle of the Indies probably will end up happening, and the Battle of the fighting games will probably happen. Yeah.
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 At this point, I'm leaning towards dropping Celeste and DBZ Fighters, but
Yeah.
it's close. I want them in there, but
it's hard for me to, I guess, make the argument because I'm the only one who played Celeste,
Yeah,
and all of us,
right.
a lot of us played Dead Cells. My big gripe with Dead Cells is none of us have finished it,
No.
which is fine, I guess. In the long
Yeah.
like I had a lot of fun with it, but I did start getting very infuriated with the loop in that game.
I did too. I
Because like
agree.
I'm like this loop is awesome. Like you get pretty far and you get these awesome weapons, and then you die and you start over. Cool, and now you have these better weapons at your disposal and stuff like that. But sometimes you spend like an hour and a half
Literally,
in
yeah.
a fucking run. You die for, I think, sometimes a stupid reason. Although the game's really tight,
Every
so
once in a while.
maybe like it's just me just fucking up, and the enemies got way stronger. And then
sometimes they spawn a bunch of weird enemies, and it's like, this doesn't. Yeah.
and
No, it's good.
then you start
bad rolls on
over.
weapons and stuff, too.
Even though you have better weapons and stuff like that, it's just like fuck. I'm back in the like crypt area.
Yeah.
And
So
then
what if we drop Dead Cells and keep Celeste?
I'd be fine with that. Honestly, I would. Only because like Dead Cells, I don't actually see myself finishing that game.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with it, but I ended up getting just frustrated at the loop of it. Even though at the beginning it was such a novel thing for me.
Yeah.
Now it's just like this is kind of tedious, even though the weapons are so cool.
Yeah, I was kind of with you when I first downloaded the game. I was the graphics, like the look of it was amazing. It looked like Nidhogg 2, like that kind of like look.
Yeah, it looks a bit like Nidhogg, yeah.
And I was just like, okay, because I've also never played like a run-based game, so like this is gonna be my first one. I'm gonna see if I
not a
enjoy
bad
this
one.
genre. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was really enjoying it for the first like 6 hours or so, and then I
Yeah.
hit that point where I'm just like, I just dropped it. Like there was like another game that came out. I think it might have been like Red Dead or close to that time.
Yeah.
And I just haven't gone back, and
Yeah,
I
I
don't
put a solid
see
like
myself going
20
back to
hours
it.
into it, and then kind of dropped it.
Yeah,
no,
it's
that's
like
fair.
15, 20
Well,
hours.
so I don't know Celeste that well. I'm fine with it being on the list. Do you guys want to drop Dead Cells and keep Celeste?
I'm okay with that if you guys are. But I mean, I
But
don't
I-
know.
obviously, I'm
Yeah.
leaning more towards Dead Cells, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to fight too hard for it. I think it's a great game. I'm glad you guys were stoked about it.
I think it's still great, and I think it's one of the best playing games of the year for sure. And the weapons are really
That's
cool.
the thing. It's got really good gameplay.
But it just the fact that I won't finish it and I have no interest in coming back to it for a long time, I think that also speaks to
Remember that you won't finish it part, because I've got that for one of the other games on this list.
that. Celeste, dude, you got to give it a try.
No, Smash Bros. I'm probably not going to bother finishing the World of Light.
That's
When I have unlocked every character, and I was like, oh, I don't really need to play this game by myself anymore.
Yeah.
But we'll get into
we'll
that
get
when
into
we're
it.
ranking it.
I don't know if that. Yeah, okay, we'll get into that.
Well, we'll get into it. I have a strong point, I think.
Okay,
for it.
I'm gonna take Dead Cells off. If that's okay with you, Dan.
Yeah, that's okay with me. I was gonna say like I haven't played either of those games. I mean, like looking at it like surface level, I think I'd be pulled more to Dead Cells. But then hearing you guys like talk about, or more so you talk about, kind of the deeper meanings with Celeste, I really like that. And then on top of seeing it, played live as well, and seeing what the gameplay is really like. Yeah, I'm okay with that. That's totally cool with me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the one thing from Dead Cells that people are going to start pulling from that game more is the incorporation of Twitch streaming and like having.
Yeah,
all
that's
that-
really
all that
cool.
Twitch
I
stuff
didn't know
there.
that.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Okay, bye Dead Cells. You were no, I can't
Dead.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like you're dead.
You are. Yeah. You're nice. Going to hell.
Ooh.
Yeah, you're as bad as NHL.
Okay, you're dead, fellas. I don't know.
Yeah.
Moving on.
We're losing it.
So we've got 6 now. Celeste, Spider-Man, DBZ Fighters, God of War, Super Smash Bros, and Red Dead Redemption 2.
So one game has not been talked about at all is
And
Spider-Man.
you better not fucking touch it, because it's gotta be on the list.
Spider-Man's getting on this list.
It's
Yeah,
gotta
I was
be
gonna
on
say
this
on the
list.
list.
I don't want to tip my hand too quickly.
You're tipping it.
but it is the best game of the year.
Well, you heard it here, guys.
Slowly tipping it, and he poured it down. He dropped the hat. He's exposed.
The change in the
The towel is dropped.
I was gonna say Spider-Man. It was like my number one game to say like right away, but then it was taken. And I was like, oh,
So
well, moving along.
so it's safe. then.
yeah.
I think Spider-Man's
Yeah. Oh
safe.
yeah, it's
but
my number one. Yeah.
I think Spider-Man's safe, but it's not my number one.
Well, we'll see.
But we'll see. But we'll see.
So yeah, I still think like if we're keeping Celeste, because I do want to keep an indie game on there, and if it can't be Dead Cells, it's got to be Celeste, I guess.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
so.
let's
we go back to
fight
Return
Smash and
over
Fighter
Doom.
Z again. I think that's the fight, right?
The fight of
I
the
think
fighting
so.
games.
Yeah.
Like if I
Well,
that's what
or
I-
Red Dead.
No, Red Dead's like
Red Dead staying.
I do.
Red Dead's like an achievement.
I have.
know.
So I have changed my way of playing Red Dead, and I have been enjoying it a lot more. Like at first, I thought it was gonna be a game where I'm just like endless hours playing this thing, but then like the moseying and the whole feel of it is just
Yeah.
real slow and deliberate.
God, the attention to detail in that game is insane.
Yeah, but also I have a video on my Twitter of just like Jack like walking on like this tent. Like I can show you later. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
it's it has some flaws.
Yeah,
it's
But
a
those
big-
flaws are fun.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That's
I
like
had
the
a flying
horse being
bartender
like
once.
kicking that NPC really far. That's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
funny
Good story.
jank.
It is,
Yeah,
yeah.
makes for a good
So
story.
yeah, when there's funny jank like that, it's like, oh, okay, because this game is an achievement. It's gigantic.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I have changed the way I'm approaching that game. It's just like it's kind of shorter sessions, like an hour and a half maybe, and that's like I do a mission, I ride out to a mission, and I ride back, and then
Yeah.
I'm kind of okay with it.
Yeah, I have a hard time playing it for like less than 2 hours because I don't feel like I've accomplished anything.
Yeah.
And even then, after 2 hours, I still feel like I don't accomplish anything. But I'll always sometimes.
Yeah.
Usually, I get stuff done. But like, yeah, it's still DBZ's probably the weak spot for me. I love DBZ. I love the property and the characters. But it's like a fighting game. Does it have a story mode? Does it have
It does.
It
It's
has
bad.
a story mode. It's not
bad.
great.
a custom character?
No,
No,
because
It's
it's
not, unfortunately, it's not Soul Calibur.
Actually,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
we'll get
funny.
to that later.
The Dragon Ball Fighter Z story mode is very similar to the Smash Bros. Story mode.
Oh, is it?
Where it's
Yeah.
just like, we have clones.
Of everyone.
Everyone's a clone, and you
Yeah.
must defeat the clones. Although the Dragon Ball Fighter Z story actually was written by Akira Toriyama or
yeah.
whatever,
Oh, really?
which you're like, really? I think you're just throwing his name in there because it's just
Yeah.
like, it seems like you phoned
It doesn't
that
seem
one
like this was
The
written
story
by
is-
anyone.
The single player is like you go in there to unlock Android 21, which is like the new character that Akira
Oh,
Toriyama
yeah. New
made for the
android.
game. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
And
cool.
it's just like
Is she for? That's the lady one, right?
Yeah.
She's
made for the
Majin
game?
Buu.
she's made for the game. Yeah,
She's female Majin Buu. That's-
She's
But
yeah.
she's oh wait, is Majin Buu an android? No, he's not.
no, that's
Oh.
why she's a
But
female
yeah,
android
She
Majin
has
Buu.
this. She's like the amalgamation of like all of the DBZ villains. Like
Yeah.
Wow.
she's the cells of Majin Buu and is an android too. Like
And she lives in a freezer.
nice.
Nice.
Yajirobe.
Raccoon Boom.
Raccoon.
Raccoon is in the game.
Ginyu Force.
Ginyu is in the game, and he uses the Ginyu Force for his attacks.
Does he have him? So one of the DBZ games I played, Xenoverse, I think it was.
Yeah.
Ginyu's in it, and he's got a move called Milky Cannon.
Yep, this is in the
And
game
it's
too.
so funny. It's so funny.
Oh Lord.
Speaking of penises,
Dan,
yeah.
Dan, do you think you'd buy DBZ Fighters at full price?
I probably wouldn't pick it up at full price because I haven't. I would wait until there's a deal. I think like
Right.
I'd want to spend like 39. I think
That's
on
fair.
it. Like it looks good. Like don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I'm sure like it's great competitively and all this stuff. But I don't know. I just there's not enough there for me to want to pay full price and
Sure.
keep playing it day after day.
I think it's a cool game to watch.
So in terms of fighting game, like the fighting part
Yeah,
of the
it looks
fighting
like a cool one
games,
to watch.
what is fundamentally different from Smash compared to all the other Smash Bros?
Oh, yeah, that's a fair point. It's not exactly a huge departure for the franchise.
It really is just you're in the way that, yes, that's a great point. It is the nuance is different, but from the outside in, like it's very similar.
Would you say it's like the best Smash game you've played?
It's the best Smash game since Melee for sure. Probably is better than Melee now.
It's my favorite of all the ones I've played.
Yeah, I've played
I've played every single one.
I played every single
one. And I played
one.
Project M, the modded version of Brawl.
Yeah.
Brawl. Yeah,
I would
right.
say it's hard to say. Only 20 hours, but it really probably is the best
I think
Smash
it's the
right
best
now. I
Smash
think
right
it is
now.
the best Smash.
But DBZ Fighter is probably the best DBZ fighting game.
It is the best DBC
For
fighting
sure.
game.
Gotta be,
It's
right?
not even
Gotta be. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Not
no,
even
it's not only the best one, it's also like radically different from
Yeah,
a lot of the other ones. Maybe like way back we had the 2D version, but that was like what, I don't know, if, like the Super Nintendo or something like that, and just had like people dressed up as the characters
Yeah, I'm
fighting
trying
each
to
other.
think. Yeah.
But this game, it takes the Marvel versus Capcom approach to this, built from the ground up to be this competitive fighting game. And I'm just looking at it from like the point of view like this is a different game, and if we're going to praise a game for being different, like God of War is different from all the other God of War games. Angus might disagree with that.
A little bit.
For sure, but
I like different, but
if you
not
look at
always.
last year, what won Breath of the Wild,
Yeah.
that was radically different from the previous like entries in the Zelda genre, right?
Yeah.
Almost like it didn't need to be called Zelda, and it could have been a new franchise altogether. But anyway,
I
No,
disagree. I disagree.
It's still
I
got the
disagree.
DNA of Zelda for sure.
But people praise that game for it being different and taking a risk, and actually
Yeah.
like it comes through in the end. This is what happens with Dragon Ball Fighters.
That's a good point.
Yep,
That's a good point.
I get you. I'm still on the Smash Bros side, even
Yeah.
though Smash Bros is like it's like an NHL type thing where it's like every console generation gets a Smash Bros.
Yeah.
and it's like okay, they keep reprinting money. It's like I don't know. Yeah,
I do love the attention to detail on Smash and how it's a celebration of like basically all video games.
there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, oh, that's really neat. Oh, the classic mode. The classic mode's really good.
Yeah.
Each character has the classic mode. You pick a character, and then you basically have like 10 fights for that character.
Yeah.
Something like
roughly.
that.
Yeah.
And each fight, so like Ryu from Street Fighter, I did him the other day.
Yeah.
I was doing his the other day, and they basically recreated Street Fighter 2, but with Smash Bros. Characters.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, instead of fighting Balrog, he fights Little Mac, and Little Mac is enlarged. One of the Fire Emblem guys, Marth, fights only dragon characters.
Okay.
It's like, so it's kind of interesting. They do some fun. They do. I find myself playing and be like, oh, that's really creative. They gave themselves these tools, and then they make a bunch of unique fights and challenges and stuff like that. It just seems like there's a lot more to do in Smash Bros.
But in terms of like the actual, I guess that's a lot of extra stuff. It seems like in Smash Bros. They just shoved as much as they could into that game, but to like what really benefit to the overall like core game of it, you know?
Well, yeah, they didn't revolutionize it, but
I think it's the best it's ever been. In the way that Red Dead has crammed a bunch of stuff in there that you don't care about, I think Smash, the way they cram it in, it's Red Dead. There's a lot of stuff you just don't interact with. But anyways, with Smash Bros, when they cram that all in, it's more like, oh my god, they crammed this in. That's like super cool. Like in every nook and cranny of this game, there is something, even though not all of it. Like again, like I'm going back to the spirit thing. Like the spirits is kind of whatever.
It's kind of whatever.
It's cool that it's there for sure. Otherwise,
It's like a collectible thing.
It is a collectible thing, and there's like weekly events right now where it's
Yeah.
like right now, this weekend right now is the Fire Emblem event where like you can fight Fire Emblem spirits and collect them and like whatever. I don't know where I was going with that point, but I think like the amount of music and attention to detail and characters in this fucking game is insane. So, but I see your point though. It is like
it's hard to argue with because they are the. Like you're saying it's the best Smash Bros. Is the best Dragon Ball Fighters game. The attention to detail in Smash Bros. Is amazing. Attention to detail in Dragon Ball
they're
Fighters
similar
is
in
amazing
both.
too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just like what it comes down to for me. I guess maybe this is a personal thing, but for me, it's like what games are pushing the envelope. What games are like changing the landscape a little bit, right?
That's a good point.
That's what really impacts me. And for Impact, Dragon Ball Fighters is the game that changed. Like I loved. It is my number one game of the year. It doesn't have to be the number one.
Interesting. Okay, this is good to know.
It
I
does
didn't
not
know it
have
was
to
your
be the number one game. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
suspect it's going to be number one for this one. But for me, it's
Interesting.
number one of the year. It changed.
Is Smash your number one of you?
It might,
Really? Interesting.
but it's not like a hard yes.
Interesting. Yeah, you're very passionate about.
I love
DBZ.
Smash Bros. Smash Bros is Smash
good
Bros
game.
is the game that I will play like from here on now, like forever, basically. Like
Until the next one
until
comes
the
out.
next one comes out.
It'll always be in
I
rotation,
fucking
yeah.
love Smash
Yeah.
Bros. And there's an endless love to that.
Yeah.
Where Fighter Z, I had a little bit
Oh.
of time with it, and I'm not gonna pick it up again. I'm not good at it.
Another thing for Smash Bros. Just to be in favor of it again. I am really excited for the DLC characters because they're gonna add Joker from Persona 5, and I am racking my brain trying to think of a more perfect character to add to that. To me, it's just because actually this is an interesting thing. So the original Smash Bros. Games were like a celebration of like Nintendo characters, but now it's become a lot more than that. There's characters from like tons of different. There's like Fire Emblem is also Nintendo, but there's like Final Fantasy characters in there now. There's Street Fighter characters in there now. Snake is in there now.
Yeah.
It's like and like Mr. Game and Watch. It's like so that's like he's been in for a while, but it's just like it's got this overarching and now Joker. Might probably like fucking gonna main that guy when I get him. I'm excited to see what the other characters are.
Bayonetta is in that game.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Like I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like Kratos doesn't belong in it. Master Chief doesn't belong in it.
No.
That's why I'm like Joker. Perfect pick.
Yeah.
Dan,
But anyway,
what are your thoughts
Dan.
here? We've been arguing a lot.
Yeah. So, I mean, both are amazing games, and I like love the roster of characters on both, and both of like they're well-made games for sure. My vote still goes for Smash, because I did pick that one up. I have played that a lot. Maybe not as much as you guys, but I have played it a lot. I don't know. I just keep thinking about like if I had friends over to my house and like said let's play a game together. Fighting games are obviously an easy game to play together. I just feel that most of my friends, I'm not gonna say all of them would, but most of them would choose to play Smash over I think Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
and that's where my heart keeps going to it.
And Smash has got like built-in tournament support and like special game modes and like.
The barrier entry is easier on Smash for sure.
Yeah.
But Ethan's point to like games that are different is an interesting one, and I do like to know now knowing that his number one game is this game.
Yeah.
It kind of shifts a little bit in my head because that's hard for me, man. I love Smash. That's hard.
Yeah, like I said, like it is my number one game of the year. It also from January to now, I am still watching pros play. I'm still watching combo videos. I'm still jumping in every now and again to like lab up some combos and stuff like that. It's literally changed my lifestyle, this game. So that's where I'm at with it.
So let's take a quick second here because we've got like I know three of us are kind of in favor for Smash Bros.
Definitely,
and I don't want to just let that be the deciding factor just yet. Are there any other games we could drop to get DBZ fighters in? Because
I know people would like.
I would say drop Celeste, but I want an indie game in there. We could drop Celeste.
We could. But I don't.
But is
think
that
we
enough
should.
just for us to say we want an indie game in, right? Like,
Yeah.
just because, right?
Dan makes a good point.
I think.
I'm not
think
saying
indie
we should
games-
drop. I'm not. My point wasn't because it was an indie game. I am literally saying Celeste is a great game.
Well, but
Like-
but I think indie games are a big enough thing. They have been for years.
Yeah.
That they kind of deserve representation on the list.
Sure.
Is that a fair way of
Sure.
looking
Yeah.
at this?
I don't want to like. Yeah. I guess that's a positive, and like I don't want to say like
Is DBZ Fighters better than Celeste?
no, it's not.
Is it better than Spider-Man?
I don't know.
Really? Wow, you have to think about that one?
It's
Yeah,
not.
I don't.
Dan, no.
I don't know.
No.
I would
No,
probably
it
give
can't
it
be.
to Spider-Man, but
Is it better than God of War?
no.
Is it better than Red Dead?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
interesting.
So
Do you think it's better than Red Dead?
well, Celeste, I didn't play.
No. God of sorry, do you think DBZ Fighters is better than Red Dead? That's what I was at. DBZ Fighters.
Oh, it's my game of the year. So yeah.
Yeah, you think it's better than Red Dead?
I dropped out of and as a huge Dragon Ball fan, I dropped out of this game fairly early. But I think again, it's one of those things where like I was playing online, I was getting crushed, and the story mode is legitimately bad.
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's painful to
Yeah.
play. Whereas World of Light and Smash Brothers, it's like whatever, this is kind of fun. The joy in World of Light is like, oh, look at all these weird variations they're coming up with these spirits, right? It's
No,
kinda
I like the World
What
of
are they
Light's
gonna
good.
do with like the next spirit with Fighter Z? It's just like, all right, here we go with this weird board, and okay, Dark Yamcha.
It kind
It's
yeah,
like,
it sucks.
like fuck.
So yeah, but
But I'm not judging by story modes. Like
no,
we should- we should-
yeah.
But it is a part of the game.
It is part of the game, but the core of
We
Dragon
got to
Ball.
judge it for something. That's
For
all
sure.
I'm saying.
We should judge it from its pure gameplay. I think like Dragon Ball and its aesthetic.
Because then, do we judge Celeste by its pure gameplay? Because it's got a cool story, doesn't it? These are
Yeah.
the things. They're all like it's all about like intent. Like
Yeah.
like Red Dead, for example, is a slow game because it's meant to be a slow game.
Right.
They did that on purpose.
I can
DBZ,
see-
they probably tried to tell a fun story, but they failed.
Yeah.
And I feel
I think it was
bad.
like
gang-
afterthought.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
like-
yeah,
it
they
was
tacked
all
it on,
about the
right?
fighting in that game.
Which the fighting sounds really solid, and from what I've watched, and it's a pro game. Like it's got lots of viewers. People love it. I
Shoot, guys.
Maybe drop Celeste.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Dan, what do you think?
Oh, yeah, this is really tough.
I haven't played Celeste. I have played DBZ Fighters. But
It's
I've
better.
played 2 rounds of it.
Celeste is better.
'Cause, yeah, I feel
DBZ
really
Fighters.
strongly that
Yeah,
like,
but I don't
Spider-Man
really wanna
should stay
fight
on the
those two
list,
together. I
God
don't
of
know.
War should.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dan.
I think Red Dead Redemption should stay on the list. So like those 3 for sure,
Yeah.
like definitely on the list.
God of War,
I think
Spider-Man,
the ones
Red
that
Dead.
are really fighting against one another right now would be Smash, Dragon Ball, and Celeste.
Yeah, those are the bottom 3 right now.
For me,
In
out of
terms
those
of-
bottom
yeah.
3, the one that's more locked in than the others is Smash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
for
we
me-
kind of got, yeah.
So
Yeah, I think it's just Dragon Ball or Celeste then.
So at this point, then, if it's 3 against 1 for Dragon Ball Fighters, then it's like 3 against 1 for Celeste because you're the only one who played Celeste.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
I could drop either of them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not super attached to Celeste. I'm kind of losing. Maybe we don't need an indie game on this, but it's up to you. Like, it's up to the group, obviously. But
This is tough, man.
Y'all know where I stand. So
Yeah, yeah.
no,
I know where you
we
stand.
We just have to make a decision.
Wait, hang on. We're saying Smash is a lock here?
I'd say so. I think it belongs.
Smash is,
I think it belongs.
Smash
to
is
the
a
top
lock if DBZ Fighters is in the list.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so
yeah.
it's we drop Celeste or we drop DBZ Fighters. I'm kind of lukewarm on either of them. I don't.
Well, I don't know what else points I can make here, but I think Celeste is a more complete package than Dragon
Okay.
Balls.
Is there another game you would fight harder for than Celeste on this list?
I mean, like it's not my game of the year. Like I'll make that clear right now. It's not, but it is a game that has brought me such big joy from this year.
Yeah.
In a year of a lot of like fighting and like death and like
Yeah.
whatever. Like this is like a pure gaming game. Like it with like it's obviously I talked about the story and the music and whatever, but this is like this challenges me as a gamer to get better. And every time I died, it was like, okay, I can fucking do this.
Yeah.
And I did, and it felt great.
Right.
So the feeling that I got from getting past every single challenge in that game was the most satisfying of gaming of this year, probably.
Interesting.
Yeah, like only like between that and like maybe fighting the Valkyries in God of War, like overcoming huge challenges. That's it. Like Celeste and that. Because like Spider-Man, great game, but it never challenged me.
Oh, it didn't?
No, like I played on hard mode, and like once you get like learn the loop of that game, it's a cakewalk. You don't even have to think about it. You know what modifiers to do to like just win through that game and breeze through it, but it's not challenging. The best part about Spider-Man is A, you feel like Spider-Man, and C and B, the story is really good.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
It's a very good story.
but the gameplay is whatever in my mind, except for the swing. Swing's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
combat was very satisfying for me.
It's okay.
For me, the combat was less about, and we'll get into this later, but like because we got to make a decision. We're going real long.
course,
here.
yeah.
The combat for Spider-Man is less about it being difficult and more about making it look cool. Like
Sure.
you could do just counter punch all day and win the thing, but it was like I want to use my gadgets. I want to get these bonus objectives. It was
It was Arkham. That's all.
it's much better than Arkham.
It is,
Arkham
but it-
sucks compared to Spider-Man.
It's Arkham. It's the same thing. It's the exact same loop. It's just it's more
Assassin's Creed
fluid.
did it first, but yeah, I get what
Yeah,
you're
it's more fluid.
saying. Okay, so what are we dropping here, guys?
Ah, fuck.
I would more likely drop Celeste over Dragon Ball.
Well, I don't want to go forever.
Okay.
I hate that has to go. I really do.
Did you say you're the only other thing you'd drop is DBZ?
No, I'd probably
Drop Red Dead?
Red Dead.
Really? Yeah, I just can't see Red Dead getting dropped. I'm really. I know you. I think I might be the odd man out on this one. I really like Red Dead.
I like Red Dead, but
Some of its parts,
it's the sum of its parts is amazing. But
and it's got
the
many
actual
more parts
game-
than Celeste.
the actual game. But that's it. Just means it's more game.
Well, yeah. What do you value more?
Like-
one thing that's done really, really well, or 70 things that are done okay?
The one thing that's done really well. I would value Celeste is better than Red Dead, 100%. That's how I feel.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I
Oh,
100% feel that way. Red Dead is just super impressive because it has a lot of money thrown at it. Sure, it has like all these animations
absolutely.
that like, oh, cool. Like, I can't believe they animated Arthur drinking this random cup. Like, they spent time doing that.
Absolutely.
Cool that his beard grows and you need tonic to do it. But like, I look at these systems, I get overwhelmed. So I kind of focus in on the things that I want to do. And that's fine. And then you go through missions in
Yeah.
Red Dead, and sometimes you're like, well, I guess that's the end of the mission. Like I rode out to this random thing.
Do you not like the story of
I
Red
put
Dead?
cinematic mode on and I went to check my phone while I'm riding to this mission, right? Like it's not
Wait, you can do that?
Yeah,
You can just,
cinematic.
like, you don't have to like tap the whole time while you're
No,
running there.
well, you can
put on
change that.
cinematic.
Oh my
But
god.
you can change that, but
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
like it's annoying, right? Like you're just
Oh yeah.
cinematic mode. People are talking.
But okay,
I'm
so
on my phone
how many
for 5
hours?
minutes.
How many hours would you say it took you to beat Celeste?
10? Less
10.
than-
Yeah. So it's like a
Yeah.
smaller dosage, and that's one of my complaints with Red Dead is that there's almost too much. I'm trying to play other games, but I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck, I haven't finished Red
Yeah.
Dead
yeah,
yet.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know, guys. So
But I get, yeah. Oh, fuck.
none of us have played.
Yeah,
it. None of us have played.
yeah. My heart is with Celeste. It really is. That I guess I feel that way compared to Ethan feeling like that for Dragon Ball. I guess is
We
my
could just drop God of War. No, I'm kidding.
No.
Yo.
No, I'm kidding.
You know what?
Uh,
You know what?
We got to pick one of the two to go. Celeste or
feel-
DBZ. Honestly, I could go with either of them. Really, at this point, I just Dan, where did you land? You said drop Celeste. You said drop Celeste.
Yeah,
Yep.
I would look
I'm
more
kinda
towards that.
neutral.
Like, I mean, like again, I think all these games we've mentioned tonight are great games.
Oh, yeah.
they're
Yeah.
all really
Yeah.
fun. I just feel like if Celeste and Dragon Ball were the same price, I would pick Dragon Ball.
Yeah, that's a really because all these games cost different.
Yeah,
that's
that's
true.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that well, Dan, I'm telling you, I think that is colored by your love for Dragon Ball, right?
Part of it is, I mean, it's a tight game. Like it played really well when I played it.
Yeah.
And it looks great. Love the characters in the game. I mean, I've never experienced a story mode or anything but I never expect too much from story modes from fighting games, anyways.
Let
Yeah.
me put it this way. Last point is we have 2 fighting games on this list here. Not that that should disqualify it, but we have 2 fighting games on here, and we
True,
have
Celeste is the
0.
only- Celeste is the only game that doesn't involve fighting.
There's no fighting.
Yeah,
it's
it's fighting
like
in
it's
God
just
of War, there's fighting in Red Dead.
challenging
there's-
platforming. Like that's that. There's a value to that, right? So
That is old school.
so that's my final point here.
So we're at basically right now we're going to and I'll go last.
Sure.
We're gonna go around the circle, the square, and we're gonna say which one of the 2 we want to drop.
Cool.
Okay? And I'm so sorry. Ethan,
Celeste.
Dan,
Celeste.
Oh boy.
Tuong.
I'll fucking kill Celeste myself. Red Dead Redemption, bitches.
Whoa!
No, no.
Well, it sounds like Celeste. We wish you the best.
Okay,
That's-
well, everyone at home, if you haven't played Celeste, please do.
Yeah,
it looks
I think
fun.
I wish you guys played it. I really, really wish you guys played it. It is one of my favorite gaming pieces of the year. I would say it's my definitely top 3, maybe 2.
Wow.
That's how I feel about it.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Even though I love Smash Brothers, Celeste is more impressive to me.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So moving on.
So we've got 5. We've got Spider-Man PS4. We've got DBZ Fighters. We've got God of War PS4. We've got Super Smash Bros. And we've got Red Dead Redemption. I'm going to come out and say number 5, DBZ Fighters. Since
You know, it's
Yeah,
probably
we
gonna
fought
be. It's
over
probably
it.
what
Yeah.
else is gonna be over.
Number 5.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
I could also go God of War number 4, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I would take Red Dead 4.
Ooh, interesting. Is Red Dead 4?
I wouldn't be opposed to that, to be honest.
I had Red Dead more around 3, but
I have Red Dead 4.
that's fine. Dan, what do you think? Does Red Dead 4 sound right to you?
Yeah. I'm happy with that.
I'm fine with that.
Or would you put God
I'm
of War
fine with that.
4 as 4?
Ooh, God of 4.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna put
No.
it here for now. Red
No?
Dead
Okay.
4.
So then 3 is
We can Smash would be 3.
Smash is 3?
I think so.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, Smash would be good at 3.
It
Yeah.
seems in the middle because one of my things with Smash is that like I unlocked all the characters. I don't know if I'll finish World of Light. And right now, when I play Smash, my objective is to get better at Smash. Whereas these other games, it's a bit more of like I'm going in for this experience.
Sure.
I'm a big fan of stories
Yeah.
in video games and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I agree.
And the experience, that's why Spider-Man is so big for me. You experience what it is to be Spider-Man.
Right.
You experience what it is to be a cowboy and the life that sucks in early America.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that like fun?
Smash Bros. Yeah, it's not, I don't know if it's supposed to be. No, the game is supposed to be fun. But yeah, so
Yeah, it's
so
great.
Smash 3.
Great going to your camp and chopping a log. And
I've
then
only done
bringing
those
that
chores a couple
log
times.
all the way
Yeah.
slowly to
Yeah,
your friend.
I hate how you can't jog in camp. That is dumb.
Yeah.
You have to
that
walk
sucks.
and then and one of the places, no spoilers, one of the places though, you have to like hike up some steps to get to your room. Basically, and you're just like, I just want to change my clothes or get
Yeah.
some ammo,
Yep.
and I gotta go.
I feel weird because
slowly
I
mosey.
nominated Red Dead, and I do think it's an achievement, but there are so many things in that game that just piss me right
I think
off.
that's right. It's right at 4.
Yeah.
I'm coming around to that. I would have had it higher.
I'm going to keep playing it.
I'm gonna
I'm
finish
gonna-
it.
yeah,
I'm
for
gonna
some
finish the
reason
fuck
keep
out of
playing that game,
Probably
but-
not gonna platinum it.
I'm gonna
though.
beat it like
No.
So Smash 3, God of War 2.
Here's the fight here. Because I think God of War is number 1.
Really?
That's my thoughts.
Gotta
But
say.
when do I ever get what I
No,
want?
I'm so sorry. Yeah, you made this show and you get fucked a lot on it, man.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Bagel belt all over again.
Yeah, it's bagel belt number 1.
Yeah, Spider-Man number 1 for me though, because like it was a tight experience. I can't wait to go back to it for the DLC. It was a self-contained story. It captures the quintessential, I would say, theme of Spider-Man in that choices have consequences, and Spider-Man doesn't get what he wants. That's why I like him so much.
I think the story's great.
It's a great story. Better than any of the better than any of the Spider-Man movies, probably.
Yeah.
And
Well,
great visuals, great
maybe
feels.
not Spider-Verse.
Oh, really? Better than it's not better than Spider-Verse?
Well, that's another discussion.
I'll go see it. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, me
Discussion.
either.
That's a discussion.
Okay. Well, what? Yeah.
Dan, I think your heart's with Spider-Man, yes?
Well, yeah, it's really tough. It's like it swings back and forth, really.
Nice. Webs, yeah.
Dude, fucking nice.
Nice, bro.
I don't know. I'm struggling with this a lot. Like, I still kind of think maybe God of War 1, Spider-Man 2.
Oh, really?
So
yeah.
definitely feel like that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Ethan, can I ask Ethan something here?
Yeah,
Even though I like gushed about Spider-Man to you,
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
heard about it on the internet, whatever.
Yeah.
Is it because you don't like Spider-Man?
No.
you don't like
that,
the character?
No,
That-
I have a Spider-Man tie. I had a Spider-Man like poster in my room growing up.
Interesting.
The appeal of this game, there's no appeal to this game for me.
Oh,
It's
how
just-
come?
The Spider-Man, I love him as a character, but it's just like, this is just like replacing. From my point of view, looking in, I have to preface this. I didn't play the game. It's like what you were saying with God of War or Breath of the Wild. It's just like you could have just done this with like any other character. You could have just like plopped them in here, open world kind of like world with this.
Well, with those,
I don't
I
know.
would say I wouldn't say any other character. I would say a new character.
Yeah. Okay.
Whereas this Spider-Man, it is the kind of like DBZ, where
Yeah.
DBZ Fighters is the best iteration of a DBZ game.
Yeah.
This is the best Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
And
Which I do
Spider-Man
respect.
games like are genre defining almost. They are almost their own thing. They like superhero open world game. No one else can do as well. Like they tried making an Iron Man game, and it's like fuck, that should be awesome.
Yeah.
But it sucked.
It was based on the movie.
Yeah, it sucked.
They have
Man
made
2.
like
Yeah.
other
Spider-Man 2 was
superhero-
based on the movie, and it fucking rocked.
Yeah, it was good. It was the best at the time. It's
So
not-
I already feel that I'm shocked to hear Dan switch sides because I thought I had an ally here. So
I'm sorry, man.
No, it's okay. Spider-Man PS4 though is like fuck. Can we just take a second too? The top 2 of our list, both PS4 exclusives.
Yeah, it's a
Fuck you, Xbox One. Fuck you.
I will say though, it does look like Xbox has their whole like lineup for next generation seems like they're
How do
gonna they've just been acquiring a lot of studios,
they? Oh.
like
Yeah.
a lot. So
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
basically they're gonna go all in next generation,
They
and they
have to.
kind of gave up this
Yeah,
generation.
I think they did. Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
the infrastructure of like say Game Pass and stuff like that for Xbox, it looks like they're doing some cool shit. But right now they fucking like whatever.
Yeah, so it sounds like this is an uphill battle for me, so I won't fight too hard because the episode's way too long at this point.
Whatever. It's a game of the
I
year.
think Spider-Man should be number 1. And also God of War.
Let's talk about
the
that.
side quests in God of War didn't pull me in that much. The story was fine.
Side quests and Spider-Man aren't that amazing too.
Oh, really? Okay.
The main
Yeah, I
story is good.
suppose.
Yeah, like I mean, it depends what
Yeah.
you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Some side quests were cool, some were not.
God.
I like the one with Tombstone. That was
Yeah,
cool.
that was a good
That's
one.
cool.
Spider-Man, though, with its main story, then, without spoiling anything, takes some fucking swings.
Yeah.
It makes some big, bold choices.
Okay.
And I would say
I think God of War couldn't do that too, though. There's
God of War feels like a setup for a new trilogy, though.
Yeah.
And it is.
I would back that.
Only
yeah.
It's the
at-
first game in a new trilogy.
but only
Spider-Man
at the
is
end
like,
do they really set up something for something else.
Well,
right?
I don't know. Like even going back to what Angus was just saying about I forget who said it. Might have been Dan. Like the memorable boss fights in that game. There was no one like you fought like Thor's little brothers there, whoever the fuck they were. Exactly.
Oh, no.
I can't even remember.
His
right?
sons, Moody and Modi.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Modi
the-
and, yeah.
It was like that one and maybe the end of the game,
Yeah.
the end of the game boss fight, where it was like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember those, and that was kind of it. And I think they may have done that on purpose. Like they're kind of just like,
Yeah, they're saving all the cool guns for later.
It's like they peek behind the curtains a little bit, but like the next game and probably the third game, they're gonna like really rip it off and show you what they're made of.
Spider-Man had awesome boss fights where you're fighting two major Spider-Man villains at the same time twice. That feels like fucking Spider-Man. Spider-Man's always outnumbered. But that's the other thing. It's like it's all going what you're going for.
Yeah.
Like truly, the Spider-Man game is fucking. It's like the perfect Spider-Man story.
You feel like, yeah, I Spider-Man, definitely one of my best. I love swinging with Spider-Man. I love feeling like Spider-Man. You really do. In the entire
Spider-Man
game.
almost made me cry twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got choked up twice.
Damn. That's
God of War.
heavy.
God of War. Well, no, I guess God of War got me a little choked up,
think-
but I've got dad issues, so
And I got son issues.
that's what my dad says.
I do think, and we've talked about this, and we won't prolong this too much longer here, but I think for me, God of War is definitely the most tight combat of the year. I really do.
Okay.
And it goes back to fighting like the Valkyries and stuff like that. I'm not sure if you
Yeah,
guys like
yeah.
fought them or anything.
I
like
didn't
that.
beat any of them. I got kind of bored.
They're
Like,
fucking
they're hard as
hard, man.
shit.
They are,
I did a
yeah.
little
But
bit.
Yeah.
the same gratification that I got with Celeste and stuff, it's like one of those things where you butt your head against it. It's like it's an uphill climb, but little by little you are learning how to fight this thing, and then you're like, wait a second, I got pretty close that time. I'm
Right.
pretty sure I can
Yeah,
get it.
I
this
think I
next
just
time.
suck. I never got close with them, even on
Yeah.
the easiest Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Yeah. With Spider-Man, it was less that can I do this thing, and it's more, can I do this thing without taking a single hit? Can I do this thing without, using like hitting all these bonus
Sure,
objectives?
yeah.
So it is, it's yeah.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man number 2, it sounds like.
That's how I feel about it. I mean, like, I'm so excited for the next God of War game. Like,
I
that
am
ending
too.
is just like, fuck, man, that's gonna be
Spider-Man's setting up a Marvel game universe,
which
which is gonna be
Is
fun.
it actually?
Yeah, that's what the word
I'm,
around town.
I'm
is.
okay with that. My
it's
worry
basically the
about
Iron
going
Man,
into
yeah.
the DLC, because I am so invested in this new world that they built for the PS4.
Yeah.
I burnt out on the gameplay with Spider-Man because of the platinum
really?
trophy.
Yeah.
Like the swinging's still good, but like again, just like platinuming it,
Yeah.
it kind of tears that entire combat system apart. The more you do it, because it's just like click, click, boom, boom. Like
And you
you're-
found the combat system for God of War to be really good?
I thought it was great. Yeah.
Okay.
It's way deeper. Like you go into the game just with this axe and you think, okay, I'm just gonna like hack and slash my way through it. But then it
Yeah.
starts unlocking the shield and the non-hand combat. Then you get the chains of blades and you can actually string all of these different moves together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The super.
The one thing I will like, I agree, it is really deep combat and it's really fun. I felt in that game I never really could do exactly what I wanted to do.
Yeah, I felt
Which
like I
is
never
just- which is
mastered
kind of-
the combat
Yeah,
in
yeah.
God of War. I mastered being Spider-Man.
Sure. I mean, I'm a really good Kratos, but and I will say the crafting in God of War was like whatever. That kind of stuff is like
whatever,
whatever.
yeah,
But
yeah.
also like
The crafting in Spider-Man wasn't that great
Yeah,
either.
the upgrade system in
Oh,
Spider-Man.
but all the suits in Spider-Man, that's the other thing. That's fucking dope as hell.
Yeah, that was cool.
I fucking
Yeah.
loved that, and I'm stoked. They added my favorite suits to the DLC games.
Yeah.
And they just added the Sam Raimi suit. Well, they added that a couple weeks back.
Yeah.
And it looks awesome, and I'm excited, and I can't wait to play it.
Right.
And but God of War, I beat the main story and didn't feel the need to platinum it. Spider-Man, I was like, I have to platinum this game.
Well, yeah, it's different because like God of War, you're like, I don't want to fucking like
Find all these
find all
crows.
those birds.
ravens,
like,
yeah.
I don't
the
give
ravens,
a shit
yeah.
about that. Like
Yeah.
Spider-Man's
Yeah.
like it's
Okay.
way easier to be like, all right, I can swing around this map and pick up that bag.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean.
yeah.
Traversal in God of War is not a
Yeah.
thing.
Well, but the collectibles in Spider-Man told a story. The collectibles in
They did,
God of
yeah.
War were nothing. They were birds that you throw an axe at.
Well, there's other ones, right? But yeah, you're right. Collectibles,
fair
right? The
enough.
collectibles
Yeah.
are not the strong suit of that game. Anyways, we have our fucking.
All
list.
right, so we've got our list, right? You guys are going. You're
Dan,
doing this.
Dan, any
Fair
final
enough.
words?
It
Dan,
happens.
final words.
Dan, you betrayed me.
Angus will remember this.
Yeah,
Dan is my
I feel
father's
really
name.
bad. Yeah, it's really hard for me on that one as well, guys. Like, because I really do want to put Spider-Man number one because like he's
Then
my
do it.
favorite superhero of all time.
Sure,
But
me
I don't
too.
know. I feel like I don't know. Maybe I think it was just the combat. Just thinking back on the combat, like of God of War, just like how like deep it was. Like yeah, the crafting, everything was as Tuong said, just kind of like nah. But I don't know the combat. When you started to get good at it, and you were just in your mind, you're just like very particular about what you. There's these guys in the distance. I'm gonna throw the axe there. And I'm gonna call it back. Cause I'm gonna hit this other thing, and you're gonna do another. You're just like planning this like massive attack. You know, it's like constantly flowing through your mind as you're having like this humongous fight, and when you pull it all off, it just felt really good.
Yeah.
And just kind of to Tung's point earlier on about the combat and Spider-Man, it's great to swing, and the combat is fun, is like so much fun. But when you kind of learn a couple little hacky tricks, it kind of takes away from the enjoyment of it, and then you can't help but do those things
Yeah,
as well.
that's
it's like,
fair.
well, I'm in a tough thing, so I'll just do that one thing where the fight's super easy.
Yeah, I
You know?
definitely had a pattern for God of War where I was like, these are the 4 moves I do. Did you guys didn't play the old God of Wars?
I did.
Oh, you
yeah.
did?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Completely
A little
different
bit,
camera
little bit,
angle.
yeah.
I wasn't super sold on the
Yeah.
over the shoulder.
I liked it a lot.
You lose a certain amount of awareness.
I liked it.
Yeah.
All
Quite a
right,
lot.
cool. So
But
number 5.
and they fucking made this one note character into something way deeper, which I liked. Boy. So
Fair enough.
boy. Okay, here we have it. Oh my god, long podcast. Number 5, Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Number 4, Red Dead Redemption 2. Number 3, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Number 2, Marvel Spider-Man. Number 1, Celeste. Yes, baby, we made it.
BLT.
We did it, guys.
BLT. Climbed the mountain.
God of
God of
War.
War.
God of War. Awesome year for video games, guys.
Good year for games.
Really good. It always gets better. Actually, that's not true. Sometimes it got pretty bad.
Yeah.
A couple years ago was pretty bad.
The one with like Shadow Mordor.
Oh
like,
god,
2016?
Shadow Mordor, rough year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though it's an okay game,
That's an alright game.
but
Yeah, 2016 was a rough year for games if I remember correctly.
yeah.
Oh yeah, we gotta do honorable mentions.
Honorable
Shit,
mentions.
okay.
Here we go.
Let's
Well,
fucking do this.
I,
Yep,
I
yep.
ran out of most of them, so
Same.
I've got a bunch.
we'll just circle around. Ethan, I don't think you have any, right?
I have one that I just wanted to play recently. It's called Ashen. It just looks like a really
yeah, that
kind
one
of
looks
like
cool.
yeah,
Cool.
just like cell shaded Dark Souls.
Nice.
Looks cool.
I have Overcooked 2.
Far Cry 5.
Dan?
My honorable mention, was Overcooked 2. Moss, that was my other PSVR
Oh, yeah.
game.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's gonna.
And then
Yep.
one that I didn't play, but I really want to play, and it's made a lot of like top lists of the year, is Tetris Effect.
That's the one I wanted to talk about earlier. Was
Oh,
that for
interesting.
PSVR? Like
Oh,
that
okay.
game has made some movement with PSVR. Astrobot in that game.
Sure.
I only have a couple more.
Me too.
Mario Tennis Aces.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Soul Calibur 6.
Yep.
Dan, do you have any more?
Oh, that's basically it.
Okay, I have. Where is it? Vermintide 2.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I liked it.
I forgot about that one.
This one you guys probably wouldn't play, but Magic the Gathering Arena is a really tight experience. I just wish I had more cards in it.
Yeah.
I have a dishonorable mention.
Okay.
A first ever dishonorable mention
Go for
for Sea of Thieves.
Oh,
yeah.
Fuck that game.
You don't have an Xbox.
I got it on PC. I
you
signed up for Xbox Live on my PC
yeah.
so that I could play it for free.
Heard it's bad.
It's got tight ship sailing is really, really fun.
Yep.
There's nothing to do. It's a fucking bad game. It's a bad game, and how dare they release it?
Fair enough. My last one I have here is Donut County.
Yeah. Okay.
Donut County's dope.
Should have been on
fucking-
the list. It sounds like.
It's no.
It's
it's an
pretty
iOS. It's a
simple.
fucking phone game.
Oh,
Yeah.
boo!
It's a good phone game.
Yeah?
Probably the only phone game that I would play this year. I
Yeah.
don't really play much of phone games.
On Android?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, I'll have to look it
It's literally you're a hole and you just suck
You're a
up.
hole.
You're literally a hole, and you suck up like objects, and the hole gets bigger.
Yeah.
And then there's like a nice little, and then you can suck up like buildings and whatever, and what. But
Suck
it
off
has
these
like this.
buildings,
Yeah, you can suck it off good.
Jesus Christ.
But the story is kind of just cute, and
Yeah.
it's like the window dressing around the game is really good. So
Yeah.
Donut County, and yeah, you didn't like Vermintide, eh? So
I didn't play it.
Oh well, why'd you say?
It
oh,
just,
Vermintide?
I'm
Well,
just
fuck.
surprised. It looked like kind of a shallow game.
Did you like Left 4 Dead? Okay, well that
I liked
completely on your enjoyment on Left 4 Dead.
Killing Floor is my wave shooter
Fair
of
enough.
choice, and it's a really good game.
Guys, we fucking did it. I'm
my
gonna
God, this was
just quickly.
hours.
Tyler Furness on last year's podcast, he just sent me a quick list here. I won't read his like blurbs that he wrote here,
Okay.
but his top 5 were God of War number 1, number 2 Marvel Spider-Man, number 3 Ni no Kuni 2. Number
actually,
4,
that's right.
Red Dead Redemption. His list is very
Very
similar.
similar.
to
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
And number 5 was Visage. I never even heard that.
Oh, I have.
Visage?
Yeah. for that game.
Visage?
Yeah.
Visage?
It's like a
I don't-
horror game. Pretty sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't played it.
Very interesting horror game. Spiritual successor of PT. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Cool. Guys, we made it. Angus, thanks for being on the podcast
Thank you
and
for having
nerding out
me.
with
Thank
me.
you for. I love video games. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, this was a fun video game. I'm glad we're able to like just hash out all my
Yeah,
the
this one was
feelings
less
of
heated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
It was difficult, but it was less
difficult,
heated.
but it was good. Lots of good discussion. Any plugs for the new year? New year, new you.
Nothing really besides new year, new me. Besides check out the Improv Punch Up on the Pod Cavern.
For sure, for sure.
Leslie and I host that, and Tongue's on it occasionally, and it's a fun improv movie podcast show, TV stuff like that. I don't really have anything else. Play some video games.
Yeah.
Dude, play these video games that we
Play
talked about.
play all the ones we mentioned,
Especially Sea of Thieves.
fuck that game.
Ethan, thanks again for being on the podcast. Of
No
course,
problem.
we love having you.
I appreciate you call me back. Finally.
We'll see. Maybe play Celeste and come back to me. But yeah, it really is an honor to have you here.
Thanks, sir.
and nerd out about video games. Any plugs for yourself?
You can follow me on Twitter at the Ghost of Eden.
Nice.
I post some video game stuff. I post like random thoughts that come to my head. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's not.
Memes.
Yeah, memes. I'm trying to get that meme money in 2019.
Oh, damn.
Rich. And then it's the same on Instagram too. I also make rap music. I produce and I rap too. The rap duo is Dead Sect, DEADSECT. You can check out old stuff too called The Addy Machine if you want to.
It's good shit, guys.
it's good
Listen
stuff.
to it. Cool, Dan Foerster. What you got, man? Thank you for Skyping in from old Waterloo.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry if I've cut out a few times here, but
You better be.
yeah, I am.
Fallout 76, you little dick.
I'm
sorry, were you
playing
breaking up?
right now? I'm actually playing right now. That's Fallout. Yeah. You can find me, I guess, on Facebook as Dan Foerster, but otherwise, I sometimes help out with a YouTube kind of podcast thing called Pull the Plug Plays. We just recorded an episode not too long ago where we played Red Dead Redemption, and we got up to some antics trying to steal a boat.
Nice.
Cool stuff. And for myself, again, my name is Tuong. You can find me in the Pod Cavern. Find a ranked top 5 list of stuff that don't matter. That's the show you're listening to right now. Also, the Improv Punch Up, of course, Talking Tongue, Pod Cavern Plays, new stuff coming in the new year. And if you have any video games that you liked, email us at rankedatpodcavern.com. Or if you're outraged that some of your nominations didn't make the list, or you're like, what the heck? God of War #1? Are you kidding me? Then send those to Angus, because he loves reading hate mail.
Oh, I love it. It's the only kind of mail.
All right, guys. Long podcast, but you wanna smash,
Yeah.
Yeah, let's smash.
and then we'll play the video game after.
Nice.
Nice. Bye, everyone.